Hello everyone, and welcome to Moonkissed, a Werewolf the Apocalypse 20th edition TTRPG. Josh, did I get that right? Because I'm not 100% sure. Okay, cool, I should have not said anything, damn. Moonkissed is, a werewolf game. It has been heavily sheepified, fair warning. Let's put that up there. And I have, taken liberties. So, before we get into all our wonderful cast and what we're going to be doing today, I want to say, if while watching Moonkissed you go, hey, this isn't Werewolf the Apocalypse 20th edition, I'm to blame. Just me. Oh, and also, for Christmas, my folks got me this. For the show, I have a werewolf, not a werewolf, a wolf and a moon shirt. And also, that art you sort of saw in the intro was done by my mum, who did a lovely watercolor and charcoal painting for Moonkissed.
What a gem.
Yeah.
So leave
Gorgeous.
comments so that she can have nice vibes because we love her.
Tell
and we don't
Sheepy's
know
mom
her.
nice things.
It's so beautiful. It really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I guess it's probably worth just saying the front werewolf or the front wolf is Ulysses, played by the wonderful Tash. And why not do intros through that? So Tash, while you're taking a sip,
Thanks.
as is tradition.
As is tradition. Hello, I am Tashna. I do lots of variety content, like crafts and Subnautica and doing my makeup and being really bad at video games, but I try really hard. And I'm gonna be playing Ulysses, who is much more confident in his situation than I am. So it's gonna go great.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Gross.
You know what I'll do? So
Oh, and two people haven't recognized me because I have a wig on. Fanty. And
I almost started hitting on
It's
her
a
as like
really
completely
good
different person.
wig.
I'm like, hey, what's up?
my sister was like, "What have you done to your hair?"
So to assist with because I have the art, we can go as we intro the next person. Tash is playing the front runner Ulysses, you see there. Next person up is the white wolf behind her, which is Whisper, played by Tessichka. I'm getting better and better at that.
yes, you are. Hi, I am Tess or Tessa or Tessishka. I stream random things. No, I stream Borderlands and Cyberpunk and stuff like that. I love technology and cats and running and keyboards, and yeah, that's basically it.
There you go. Next up is the wolf in the background, howling at the moon, who's desperately trying to get ready to unmute so that they can do their intro. It is Persephone and also Vandy.
Me. Hi, I'm a wolf. I'm playing Persephone. You can find me at OMG Vandy pretty much everywhere, and I do. Wow, what do I do, Sheepy?
You did some
League of Legends.
Animal Crossing?
I did play League of Legends.
You
on
played
your
League of
team.
Legends, that's what you're playing, yeah.
I did. I did a stream once. Yeah, it's true. But most of the time, you can actually find me here or on other channels, just RPing and doing RP things. So, yeah, I'm excited to be a werewolf for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying so hard not to say ooh woo. so hard.
You said it. That's your one for the campaign.
Okay, I said it, but like I didn't say it, you know?
Right.
Like there's a difference. There's a presence.
Right.
Anyway, very excited. I'm excited for you to meet my character, and I'm excited to RP with these wonderful people that I love RPing with anyway. So It's gonna be fun.
And finally, we have the shadow in the dark, the pair of eyes in the back of the cave, just the right of Ulysses there. North being played by Josh. And
Heyo.
also Gaming FTL.
I get to be a pupper. I'm very excited for this because I haven't been able to do this in a very long time. Hi, I'm Josh. Today, I played Vampire because I wasn't going to be doing it this evening on my Twitch channel, Gaming FTL. The other important thing is that Stitch of Fate Season 2 has been announced. So
I saw that.
Lots of very exciting things going on there. So if you want to check that out, I'll be working on that really soon. So that's exciting. But right now, I am North.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
North of what?
How incredibly cool this overlay is. It's so good.
overlay done by Peach Pixelate, the most wonderful and most creative. I really enjoy this this overlay. And also, I just want to say the most exciting thing about the Stitch of Fate announcement, the Season 2, is the fact that Josh, of his own volition, promoted it without nudging from any of us. Which I just think is impressive.
And I wasn't
proud.
muted.
I know, I
Anything.
was about to say you managed to do the whole thing without forgetting you were muted or, you know.
This is going to be a really
on?
good campaign, everyone. I can feel it.
What is happening? I feel like this is a new year, new us. Like we're actually, we're going with it. Sheepy started off with a intro that was coherent. He's recording.
He's not recording.
He's not
That's
recording.
I
not his fault,
have to rip it off Twitch because
Oh.
yeah.
Oh right, yes.
Oh.
Because of
But
the-
thank you for pointing it out, Vandy.
You're welcome. I got you. But anyway, wow, we're on a roll today, so I feel pretty good about this.
It feels like we
Yeah,
stumbled already.
Shh, no, just because I made a point of saying it doesn't. We're fine.
Up is
Let's not
down.
slip backwards. Let's go. With
We're
the
going.
woof.
Let's
Let's
keep
go.
this momentum going. We got this.
Okay. Yeah. Up is down. Left is right. North is south.
North is south.
You knew where I was going with that.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. So, without further ado, I guess we're going to get into Moonkissed. So, the setting is in North America. Somewhere in Canada, in fact. Oh, Canada. You are all part of a pack who... Something that you don't know yourselves, but you're cut off from not just civilization, but also your past as werewolves. The kind of the lore, the stories, the histories, the spirits. A long time ago, according to your what stories remain, your pack was tasked with guarding the cave which you live in. Right in the middle of nowhere, in the wilderness, where it snows all the time, and where sometimes it can be hard to even find food. There are little dots of civilization here and there. The nearest dwelling or little kind of country town tucked away is about 2 days away as the wolf runs. And for the most part, your duty to guard whatever it is that is in this cave, which you yourselves are not entirely sure what it is, if it even still needs guarding, or if it's even a thing, tends to keep you here. Because, if you step away, whatever you're guarding it from might turn up. So, You are the latest generation, the newest generation of werewolves to take up this sacred duty. There is one remaining older werewolf from the previous generation. He's called Eclipse, and he has been advising you, and he gathered you all up when you were recruited to the pack. And he has just headed out into the night and into a blizzard to go and pick up another new recruit. It's seeming like he's going to effectively retire. When a werewolf gets to a certain age, they tend to become a bit less useful in the terms of survival and fighting and supporting the pack. So they tend to let age take them, and they wander off, maybe towards civilization, or maybe just off deeper into the wilderness. Before we get going, would you all like to give us just a very quick intro to your characters? As much as a description as you want, and just what you do in the pack, I guess, a little bit. Let's start off with North.
North is a big burly dude, and you can see that he has a shaved head, and you know what? Let's say he has a big bushy mustache.
Oh, lovely.
And he is always, every time everyone's seen him, wearing a sheepskin-lined jacket that looks a little worn, but he's generally a pretty happy chappy. And he was born as a wolf. He's a lupus.
Yeah.
Very strong, very lazy sometimes, but if you were to ask him his favorite thing to do, it would be bird watching.
Would you like to tell everyone how North got his name, or should we let that come up?
Oh, yeah. North got his name because he always knows which way north is.
Well, that's part of it. When he was a pup, he used to sleep facing true north.
Oh, yeah.
So his yeah.
Like a cow.
Yeah.
You know, he lays down, is always facing a certain magnetic direction. Wait, is it true north or is it magnetic north?
True north.
It's true north.
Strong and free, baby.
So next up, let's go to Persephone.
So, Persephone is also a little lazy, but she's always kind of like playing with something. Whether it's like the chain hanging from her lip, it's like a little ring with a half moon dangling from it, or a couple little like pieces of string or a poultice she's making. She has short brown hair and it kind of fades to gray. But she has, the most interesting thing is she has like these symmetrical scars on her face, her shoulder, and on her calves. And one side of it always kind of looks a little bit worse than the other side. But she's always kind of like poking around with things on the ground, either like drawing things out, or at this point she's kind of like lazing in the cave and marking in the dirt just like a little idea for another medicinal poultice she's trying to work on. So and she always looks very comfy. She always looks like she's nice and warm and comfy and very, very chilled out.
Okay. We'll do Whisper last as we finish setting the scene, because Whisper is currently out with Eclipse, taking him to the border of your territory. So let's move to Ulysses.
Hello. My intro is not going to be as good. Yuli is nicknamed Yuli and has short black hair. Obviously, as a wolf, is very similar coloring, but she is pretty chill, pretty soft spoken, but pretty sure of what she's got going on, whether or not she knows what it is. She's sure of what they have to do. And you'll just see her probably sat quietly, maybe with a book. The irony, well, it's not irony really, is it? Well, kind of. They can't go traveling, and she's called Ulysses. It's not lost on her. Enjoying that. Yeah, she's sort of mid-20s and kind of stocky, just having a nice life in the Canadian wilderness.
Yeah.
Quite enjoying the wolfiness.
Both Persephone and Ulysses were human, born, and shifted to werewolves, were picked up by Eclipse and brought back here. So, the three of you are lounging or busying yourselves around the cave. Been a little while since Whisper went out with Eclipse. It is... I think it's this one. Apologies, that's quite loud. It is quite windy, and there is currently a blizzard going on. It is something that has kept you from hunting the last couple of days. You have been hungry. It has been something that has been debated, but Ulysses decided that with the blizzard as strong as it is, the hunting would be difficult and best to just bide by the hunger and wait for a little bit. There are soft pads of footsteps coming back towards... You can't really hear it, but we see in the camera outside the cave a kind of four-legged, like reasonably small and gangly wolf shadow walk towards the front of the cave, and as it walks inside, the shadow shifts to a more upright, standing look. And as you walk inside, Whisper, why not tell us what you look like and about you?
So Whisper was also born a wolf. So she's still not kind of like 100% used to being human. She's more comfortable being a wolf than being human. She's tall, and when she shifts, she still has one kind of extra long fang that kind of hangs out over her lower lip because she doesn't quite shift the whole way. And her hair is white, and she tends to like wrap herself up in furs if she can, because that's just her. That's what feels comfortable to her. Sort of the smell of the wilds and the feel of the wilds. As a wolf, she's white with a green eye and a blue eye. And as a human, she's also white-haired and kind of unkempt, and just tall and kind of a little gangly almost, a little bit messy, and she's just uncomfortable, like as a human, like
A little bit
you can tell.
awkward.
Yeah, exactly. Like almost like an awkward teenager, but she's a little bit older than a teenager.
Yeah.
So she's used to running wild and so like is used to tracking, and
Mm.
even as a wolf she's a little bit smaller, a little bit more sort of stealth trackery.
So, as you shift back to human form and walk into the cave, the storm outside, the noise of it at least, dies down a little, and you hear the fire that is going. Like, little fire pit in the cave, helps keep it warm and everything. Strangely enough, you don't have electricity out here, so you can't run like a space heater or anything like that. You do have some kind of amenities and supplies and things like that. Spare clothes, books, you know, a few bits and pieces, anything you'd have wanted to bring with you here. And there are also some bedrolls, kind of sleeping bag type things, designed for more Arctic, colder weather. If you want to sleep as humans, it really depends on how you're comfortable and what your kind of aesthetic is. But currently, you are all human, unless stated otherwise, and it's one of the details about being a werewolf is you probably have your own preferences, what you're more comfortable with. You have your kind of the pure wolf shape and the pure human shape. Pure wolf shape can be very useful for running long distances, staying warm. When you're hunting, obviously, unless you're going to be putting up traps and trapping and things like that, it's a lot easier to hunt as a wolf. However, when you need to converse and have properly in-depth conversations, being human is a lot easier. Even when you're a wolf, you're kind of limited by body language and instinct and, that type of thing. So, yeah, talking as a wolf, except for in some circumstances, is limited.
Hey, look who's back. You keep missing that one tooth when you shift.
Yeah, who's gonna see me anyway? Ugh,
Eh.
it's cold out there, but it smells really good outside. The snow.
Anything tasty?
Too cold. Definitely need to go on a scout run soon though. Hungry.
Yeah, me too.
We'll see how the storm abates, I think, and we will review it tomorrow.
Yeah, I
Or
think
later in the
everything's
day.
hiding.
You, when you were out, Whisper, you didn't see any signs of food. So, just FYI.
Everything's probably hiding. Once the storm breaks, I'll go scout.
How long has this storm been going on for?
3 days.
How many? 3 days? It's gotta break sometime. I mean, I'm getting stir crazy. Same rock walls, same rock floor.
Persephone.
Eh,
Totally.
I am
No.
a very adaptable person, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, I adapted here, so
Ulysses, I'm hungry. Can we go out and find something so I don't have to stare at Persephone's smelly butt the whole time?
I wipe. Unlike you.
Yeah,
If
but I
the
do it
storm-
outside, so it's fine.
If the storm has continued, there's not going to be any prey out at the moment.
maybe we could like catch them while they're hiding.
Everything's probably buried deep, but I'll go out and scout again.
Fine. I guess I could probably like look for something.
No,
You sure?
take
dude?
Percy with you
No.
on a scout run.
Yes.
No.
Ah, yeah.
You
You
were
want me
bored.
to run out?
Go be
take
not
a look.
bored.
Fine. Fine. Oh God. All right, Whis. Yeah, just warm up a second, and we'll go back out. And...
Oh,
Fine, we'll look around.
so if we're warming up for a sec, how was Eclipse? You all right?
Seems fine.
He-
He's
Stumbled a couple of times on the trip, and he had difficulty keeping up with you. But whether you want to say that or not is...
he is getting older.
We how time works.
Exactly.
He will leave us soon.
A
I
long in the
think.
tooth.
That's a good one. You know, because we got teeth.
I just kind of smile a little in my one tooth, kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go ahead and start scouting. You guys can probably follow my tracks. And I shift back to wolf. No?
You're very aware that you're a hard wolf to follow.
Well, you could probably follow my tracks, because mine are definitely bigger, so... And I'm gonna be with her. Also, I'm not... I mean, she just blends in with the snow. What do I do? Ugh, blend in with a tree, maybe. It's cold, it's cold, it's cold. And I'm gonna shift.
Okay.
to a wolf.
That will be, unless you would like to use a rage, that will be a stamina primal urge roll, please.
Okay.
So our first, ooh.
I only know how to
Wait.
do this because we just set it up.
Wait, how do I do this? Stamina primal urge. Stamina.
So if
God,
you
what?
if you go down to your dice pools,
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it for you.
Oh, you can just like roll and then.
So it will be stamina and
Oh, you put it there.
primal urge, like that.
Okay. The difficulty stays the same, no modifiers or whatever. Yeah, okay. Whoop. I got 0 successes. It was flat.
Get a -1
So,
success.
the way the rolling in Werewolf works is the difficulty can actually shift. So in Vampire the Masquerade, you tend to always have sixes or successes, sixes or above are successes. In Werewolf, if it's more difficult, I can move it up. So if you're trying to do something very, very difficult, you could be aiming for 8s and above.
Jeez.
Okay. 10s are always successes, 1s are always failures. If you don't roll any successes and roll 1s, like very, very bad things can happen. And 1s take away from your successes. So you can see in your rolls, Whisper, you rolled a 6, which is a success, but you rolled 2 1s, so you end up at -1. And Persephone, you rolled a 7, which is a success.
And then a 1.
But you rolled a 1, so you can, if you like, use your willpower.
Sure. How many does
Yeah,
that
same.
allow for a reroll?
I think it would be 3. I'm not 100% sure on that. Josh, do you know?
What?
Willpower reroll.
Oh, willpower in this. I cannot remember, honestly.
Let's.
systems.
Let's go with the default as we know it, which is 3 dice, and I will allow you to reroll ones as well. So
So
what do we do?
so 3 dice
What
plus
is
our
the
ones.
automatic success thing?
no, so if you reroll 3, if you roll 3d10 for your reroll,
Oh, it's just the lowest ones, including the. Okay.
I'll always assume that you guys want to reroll your ones because they take away from your.
So is it just okay?
Okay. Well, I got 1 success, so
Yes.
still got a 1.
Okay.
So
You Whisper, you got 2 successes. Persephone,
Percy
you
with
got
1.
1, and North, you got 2. Again, in Werewolf, you're not. A success is a success. So if you get 1 success, you're good. And it's just how successful you are after that. So you will succeed. And Ulysses, as they're all moving to the mouth of the cave, you hear like some grunts, some like exclamations, and the grunts and things turn into kind of snarls and barks and coughs, and you hear like kind of snapping and twanging. And you know what this is. This is the 3 of them about to head out and shape-shifting into their wolf form to do so. And as you hear the patter of paws head out and drift away, you pick up your book, smile very lightly, and go back to reading, which may have been part of your plan. So. Oh, that's the wrong way around. There we go. As you step out, the wind hits you. Your senses are different now, more attuned, sharper, but it does mean the wind's louder in your ears. But it also means that the wind doesn't cut as deep, as badly on your skin, on your fur. When you talk, it will need to be simple, clipped conversation. Keep that in mind. You can't say anti-establishmentarianism. You can't say, medical facilities required immediately nearby. It's gonna be like food there, or hungry, like that type of communication. And it's mostly done with expression, with body maneuver, like some like growling and barking and etc. So that's what you'll be doing.
So Whisper's gonna just like smell around, and she has an ability called Sense Prey. So I'm not sure if I need to roll something to use that.
Give me a second. I'll help you out with that.
Thank you.
It is. There it is. You roll your perception and primal urge. The difficulty is 5.
Sec. I have to reload.
Okay. I'll set up the.
For some reason, I can't see it unless I pop it out, or maybe I can't see it at all.
There we go. And the difficulty is 5. Okay. The roll is ready for you when you want to. You've got it prepped.
It's just not loading. I'm sorry.
It's alright.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. Thank you. So Whisper's just going to kind of like, she gets outside and she's just like smelling the wind and nose in the air, kind of looking around. She loves being outside.
Oof. Have a little look here. So that's 2 1s, but also 2 10s. And 3 other successes as well. That's pretty good. Yeah, even with the wind and the blizzard, the snow, there have been times, Whisper, when you've been out hunting and trying to find food for the pack, where you kind of feel like it's not always your nose or your ears that lead you to food. Sometimes it feels like it's just instinct or like knowledge of some kind that's just kind of dropped in your brain. I don't know how much you question that.
I don't think I do. I think it just feels natural.
Yeah, it does very
Just go with
definitely
it.
feel natural.
Yeah.
So like it's hard to describe even to other wolves exactly what it is that you feel. But you get the feeling of like kind of up towards the north over that river, and then kind of nestled towards one of the kind of hillier, rocky areas. Something. You can't really get a sense of like what is there. It's just like a mental tug, and then you have a similar one over to the east, maybe northeast, but maybe a little bit further away. And this one's just kind of straight out through the forest, over the flatter land, somewhere out over that way.
Do I know that? Wait, the one that's over the river. Do I know that there's a way to cross? Is it like frozen?
Oh,
over?
the river's frozen, yeah.
Okay. So, I'm just gonna look at North. I'm just looking at him, and then I kind of like turn my head and like nip Persephone a little bit on the shoulder, just to kind of like gently,
Yeah.
kind of like a catnip, just to like point her in the, because she's just like la-di-da kind of looking around. So I just to get her to follow me, and I think she'd know by now that this is my kind of like, come on this way, and I just start heading north.
And as I said, with body language and similar things, you can say things like food north,
I think I just say this way.
close, far, yeah, this way, etc.
Yeah, I'd follow her, just kind of silently. I would say Percy kind of usually keeps pretty quiet on hunts. She's usually not as articulate, I guess, as a wolf, seeing as she was human first. So she, especially among 2 natural wolves, or Lupus, I guess, would just kind of follow their lead.
But yeah, you've spent, technically speaking, less time as a wolf. I don't know how comfortable you are.
I'd say
Probably
pretty comfortable, but just
yeah.
not as comfortable.
not
as
as
them,
not as
you know?
natural. It's probably only noticeable to other wolves or wolf-born werewolves, but yeah.
Yeah.
North?
North is the exact opposite. He is very excitable and basically like wagging his tail, and he's having a great time. He's anxiously waiting for Whisper to lead the way.
Okay. So Whisper, you set off. In terms of pace, are you going full out? Are you taking it relaxed? Are you going slow?
I think I'd probably go somewhere in between relaxed and full pace, because it's really stormy and windy. And I don't know what the prey is yet, so I want us to conserve our energy a little bit, but I also don't want the prey to run away. So
Okay.
we're just like a steady state kind of pace.
I think unless you're going full pace, you won't leave them behind. They're not the fastest,
Yeah.
but
I'm not like jetting to,
yeah.
you know, I'm just gonna kind of like set a pace that's reasonable so that they can keep up.
Okay. So, you set off into the night, moving towards the northeast, or just the north, kind of
The north, yeah, because you mentioned that was a little bit closer. So
yes. Okay.
Know this.
So, going through the woods, through the forest, snow's quite deep, but you're used to it, and you make your way through without too much hassle. The wind, and especially the cold, does still bite slightly. It's not... It's pretty cold up here, basically. It's minuses, like heavy minuses. If you were to spend too long outside, we're talking a couple of days maybe, you might find yourself leaning towards like frostbite and, you know, like, well, not frostbite, but starting to go down that road. I would assume that... Are you going to leave the kind of, let's call it scouting, to Whisper, or would you all like to be more aware of your surroundings as you go?
I think I'd probably, like, once we started, you know, getting into part of the travel, I'd probably start looking around a little bit more. I just, like, I want to keep an eye out, not just for, like, movement, but also for possible herbs or whatnot. If there's there's probably not much. Actually,
I mean...
well, there's probably not much, like, in deep snow, so...
I mean, you know, moss on a tree, depending on the moss, can be used for a poultice.
Okay, well, I'll just keep, like, a light eye out. I'm not going to be, like, actively searching for it, but I'll keep an eye out for movement or any strange... anything that would be considered strange.
Okay. North. Should I take it that, North is a mixture of enjoying being free and running outside, and also relying on Whisper to keep an eye out for anything that needs to be kept an eye out for?
Oh yeah, pretty much.
Okay. In that case, can I get a perception and alertness from Persephone? Actually, Persephone, could I get intelligence and alertness, please? And perception alertness will be for Whisper.
okay. How do I do both?
So what you can do is in your dice pools, you can put in attribute and ability.
Okay.
So, no successes on my part.
Perception and alertness, you said, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
3
Okay.
successes?
3 successes. Very good. Also, Persephone, you rolled a 1 with... Oh no, you did get a success, so that's fine.
I did.
If you roll 1s with no successes, then a bad thing. You know, like you mess up more than just not succeeding, you mess up with a bad.
Would that always be like a negative then?
Probably, yeah.
Usually? Okay, yeah, so it's no successes on my part then for that one.
You don't see anything that stands out. As you're going through the woods. Whisper, you see like a flash of movement, just almost like a little bit of a little bit of snow like getting dislodged, and you freeze. And after like I'm assuming you other two want to also.
I stop immediately when she does.
Yep. Me too.
It's quite a far ways away. But you kind of stop with like one of your paws in the air. You know, like a hunting dog, like.
Yeah.
And then after a second, you see like this little tuft of a tail, like split in the air. Roll me perception, animal can, please, just to see if from that it will be a difficulty of 7.
Wow.
That's 3 successes because it's difficulty of 7.
Yeah.
But still 3 successes. That's a squirrel.
It's
kind of like scar. It's probably digging for a nut or something. And it's like deep in the snow, but it's reasonably like there are trees about the place. So from what you know of animals, once it knows you're there, it's going for a tree and it's going up the tree. And technically speaking, you guys can climb trees if you're human. As wolves, not so much.
Is it upwind or downwind?
It would be downwind from you.
So it could potentially smell us. Not me, but the others.
Potentially, yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna like face the direction of the squirrel and just look to north and be like, you need to go around. I'll go this way. But there's something there. Food. Food there.
You
go
soon
that
as
way.
you say food, I'm
Food
like,
there.
okay.
Wait, you going straight for it?
Well,
No,
because
you're going the way
Oh,
that Whisper
okay,
says,
okay.
like around
so-
the side.
it can't smell me if it's downwind. It can't scent me because I have an ability.
It
But
can
it can
still.
scent you guys.
It can still hear or see, but
Right. So I'm gonna very slowly, like I wanted to tell them to go around the other way in case it runs. But I'm gonna very slowly like kind of slink down and start creeping up very quietly towards it.
okay.
I'd like bunk down and start sneaking as well with Whisper.
Well, I told you in North to go.
You
Oh,
told-
I basically
I thought
yeah.
you told North.
You told North. You didn't say anything to Persephone.
I thought I said to both of them. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'll go with North then.
Okay.
And I'll,
i-
keep up with them.
In that case, I will need. Just want to see if anything's more appropriate. I don't think it will be, but I will need a dexterity and stealth from all 3 of you, please.
Same difficulty, 6.
Yes.
I got a success.
Yeah, you did.
Yay.
Hey.
That's an accident.
That's a good roll.
Mm-hmm. I am. My senses and on taskness are honed by the fact that I'm really hungry.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, you head round the side of it until you're where you judge is more kind of like upwind from it so that it can't the wind isn't pushing your scent at least your way. As far as you can tell, for both of you, you're not 100% sure where it is. You just have a general location. Whisper, you can see, like, still see like snatches of tail as it's moving around, and you move straight up to it. If they get closer, they might be able to kind of be ready to pounce on it. Also, just FYI, this isn't the mental tug you're getting. That's further away.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have mentioned that, like, before you started hunting this thing. But, this isn't the mental tug you were getting.
Well, I mean, if it's a squirrel, it's still a snack, right? So, yeah, so I'm just gonna keep trying to creep up to it and you know, like if I get close enough to where I can pounce, because it's just a squirrel, so if I can get close enough to where I can pounce on it, I'm gonna pounce on it.
Okay. So, you can get close enough. And if you want to move a little bit quicker than Persephone and North, you can also do that. You're kind of like down in the doggy shuffle, where you're like going closer, going closer. And you get close enough where you can either make a burst of sprint to get it before it kind of like can react. With animals, when you're hunting, it's usually, especially individual animals and smaller ones at that, it's kind of a mix between the freeze or the instant, like, you know, dashing off. So you are now where you're close enough, you think, as long as you get a good burst of speed going, you should be able to get there to it. But if you want, you can get closer and maybe go for like a pounce, where you kind of like spring up and down onto it. It's more of like an instant.
I'll try to get a little closer.
Okay. In that case, as you can see, like vaguely where Whisper is. Do you both want to keep moving in towards the position that Whisper indicated, or are you going to?
I want to watch.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where this thing is, so I'm just like,
You-
where's she
you-
going?
Yeah. North?
I'm not stealthy, but I want to be a bit closer so that I can help.
What is the priority for North? Getting the food or helping Whisper? Like, I'm
Really, aren't they the same thing?
to North, you have been hunting smaller, like, if you want smaller animals as food, the go-to people are Whisper and Ulysses, because Ulysses knows how to trap as a human, and
Guess I'll help Whisper.
Whisper is fast.
Yeah. I'll help Whisper. Fine.
Well, if you want to help Whisper, you may want to stay where you are and not moving closer.
North is in the dog ready to go places position, but
Yeah.
otherwise is not moving.
Okay. In that case, Whisper, you're getting closer, so this will be difficulty 7. Please roll me another dexterity stealth.
I'm just creeping.
Yeah, you both, again, you have a vague idea of where Whisper is-ish, but you can't see any, like, shifting of any noise, you can't see any shifting of snow, and, Whisper, do you just want to pounce, like, go aerial and then drop on it?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I would just be crawling and kind of just like crouch down to the ground, kind of like, and then like sink down and just go whack.
You kind of coil back into a spring and then just go psh.
Yeah.
Because of your stealthing and how silently you've moved close enough whereby it's pretty much a gimme that you're going to land on this squirrel. So it's now down to how hungry you are and whether you're just going to, like, for Whisper, are you just gonna chomp on it? Or are you gonna like knock it dead? You know, you can land on it with paws, or you can chomp on it with teeth.
No, I'm gonna land on it with paws, because I mean, so like, do I know that there's still a thing further out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just a snack, but I'll share the snack because
There's not much to share. I mean,
Well,
you can have a little bit of an argy about it.
I mean, it's something, right? And
It is within Whisper's nature to share and also to leave it open. You know, it's less likely that Whisper would just eat something that you have hunted as a pack. If you're out by yourself and you catch something like a rabbit, then sure. But even then, you might bring it back for everyone to decide what to do with it. So you both see this kind of like blur of white, which looks like a snowman's just erupted from the ground and flown into the air. And then Whisper comes down with barely a whisper, and you hear like a very tiny like, and then Whisper's just kind of standing. Probably sitting, actually, just sitting there panting very lightly.
yeah,
And
just like all satisfied because I got the thing.
yeah, there's a little bit of snow like flipping up and down as her tail goes back and forth. And
I'd probably be really startled when I saw the movement. I'd be like, because I had no idea where she was.
yeah.
And then when I see her kind of pop up like that, I'd probably start wagging my tail too and be like, "Hey, look, there she is."
Do you do like when there's a sudden like burst of movement?
Like,
yeah, I was thinking maybe you do like the run in a circle and then back to where you were, kind of like something's happening, excitement, and then just.
oh yeah, I do like a couple little like donut zoomies and just like wait, and then if she pops up again, I'd be like, "Ooh," and like I could go up to her and just be like, "Just take a look at it."
I'm gonna sit there and just be like satisfied and be like, here.
Yeah.
I'll nudge it over to North.
I'm gonna sniff it. And we're like, can I eat it?
I'm just gonna like nod my doggy head.
Yeah, kind of like
And eat.
a body shrug.
Yeah, like
It's not gonna fill any of you up. If you share it, it's gonna do even less, but it could take the sting out a little bit.
If he takes too long to try to eat it, I'm gonna try to like snatch it from him.
No, as soon as I get a yes, I'm like, okay.
One of the things that is very likely a thing for your pack is, while he is not the best hunter, he is the best at taking down larger prey. So all of your best meals, all of your best kind of takedowns, we're talking like bison or big stags and even the occasional bear maybe, those have been with the North as the centerpiece, because he's the one who is the best, the strongest, and the most warlike, I guess is the word.
Got the big pointy teeth.
Which means on the hunt he tends to burn the most calories, and he tends to get the hungriest when you're hunting the bigger game. So it does make.
To clarify, my attempt at snatching was more to be like, hurry up kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
Not like I'm actually gonna eat it. It was like, hurry, like let's go. There's probably more out there.
Cool, yeah. You don't have to tell me twice. I gobble up that, and then I'm like, yeah, that was awesome. I just give like Whisper an affectionate head nudge. She's like, cool. What's next?
There's more.
More?
Where are they? Okay.
And I start
I'm
heading
gonna follow.
us. Yeah.
I'm going to embellish that very slightly in, I think, as you go, and you start heading off towards the river and beyond, I imagine that having said there's more, both Persephone and North are like looking up into the trees as you run, trying to see where the other squirrels are that don't exist. Whereas Whisper's like straight ahead, kind of like,
Yeah,
I know
I'm
there's
just like focused.
yeah, you don't notice. You're just like, I know there's more more squirrels this way, more food this way. You're not thinking about squirrels in the trees.
I imagine like North and I are kind of like crisscross bounding over each other, like looking over at different places. And
Yeah.
Whispers just like keep going. We have to like catch up. And
Yeah, we stop for a moment, and then like Whispers way off in the distance. We're like, oh,
like shit.
As you carry on your run, the blizzard is still going on pretty heavy, and you've been out for probably a good hour of running and etc. So could I please get a... You know what? Can I please get just a straight stamina roll, please? Whisper got 1. North got 2. Persephone got 4.
Wow.
Cozy.
fuck.
Hmm.
I actually really
so-
needed to go
so-
out.
Percy, just for clarification, Percy is fairly slight under like all the fur, but she's fluffy. She's like a Pomeranian dog, like not that fluffy, but like she's very like it just looks like there's a bunch of fluff.
I can't help.
That's
I can't help but
Oh,
see
okay.
like a little Pomeranian, like trotting along behind these massive wolves. But
just like yapping.
I mean, I think
Yipping, I guess.
I think we know that if Tess was a werewolf, you know, like actual werewolf, she'd turn into a little Pomeranian or something.
Or a small poodle or something.
yeah.
I don't know. Like a toy poodle. My god. Yeah, she's like super fluffy, so she looks bigger than she actually is.
Yeah.
With scars.
So. You, after another hour, maybe, you make it to a river, quite a long, wide river. And when it's in kind of like late spring, maybe summer, when it's actually a river, it will... You probably wouldn't try and cross it here. Like, North could maybe make it, Persephone possibly, but it's a pretty strong current. Currently, however, fortuitously enough, it is heavily frozen, so you can make your way across. And Whisper, at this point, the mental tug, there's kind of east, like properly east now that you've headed further north, and then still on this trajectory north. You can see in the distance as well, like very slightly outlined on the skyline because there's no real light or anything. It are like a few like hills and further back a couple of mountains in the distance.
So I'm just gonna kind of like pause for a second and like look at North and look at Persephone and just be like kind of like yip quietly just a little bit, just to and like point my head north, and then start going that way.
Okay.
It's like
Just like
lift my nose a
this
little
way.
bit and go with her.
I'm on alert. I've stopped messing around. Whisper leading time again.
Okay. Whisper, the cold is not anything to worry about yet, but it is slowly kind of seeping into your bones just a little bit. You wouldn't want to be out all night like this. North, similarly, like not as bad as Whisper, but you feel the same thing. Persephone, you don't even notice that it's cold, you're just kind of bounding along beside them as you run.
I'm like in it now. I'm ready.
After maybe another half an hour past the river, you come to this kind of rocky outcropping that overlooks this like kind of reasonably deep valley that kind of heads off like far away out of your territory. This is probably close to the edge of your territory. So to very quickly, and if I lessen up the blizzard slightly, to very quickly take you a bit deeper into your pack. A few generations ago, there were a lot more werewolves guarding your cave and whatever is inside it. When they were like that, they decided to push out further and kind of make their territory a bit larger, their kind of patrolling areas a bit larger. Now with your generation, the numbers have shrunk from about 10 to what you have now, which is 4 and also technically Eclipse. And hopefully another one who will be joining you once Eclipse has found them. And so you have your what you kind of almost unspokenly agree upon as sacred land. The land that is sacred to your pack is a lot smaller. It's kind of about 200 meters around your cave. That is land that is not allowed to be trespassed upon. Past that, it is your territory for a good few hours in every direction. This part of the territory is bordered by the kind of the cliffside and the ravine going down into it, and then further away you have the mountains and the hills. Quite rocky around here. Not that you notice 100%, because it is also a lot of it covered in snow. So let us go for Whisper. Roll me perception and alertness. Anyone else who would like to? Holy crap! And this is what happens when you have a freaking scout hunter wolf who's just like, you know what I do? I find prey. Can't do much with it when I found it, unless it's like a little dinky squirrel. But yeah, if you'd like to look around, you can, or you can search, kind of snuff out the area a little bit, looking for signs of anything.
I want to search around the area, like snuff it out. So is that intelligence alertness or?
That would be intelligence
Perception?
investigation.
Oh, investigation. Okay. Well, that's a -2.
Persephone rolled
4 ones.
Persephone rolled who dat?
Clearly nobody.
Okay. North.
North rolled looking around and got 2 successes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
North, you notice. You smell something off further towards the entrance to this ravine, away from where Whisper is like stiff as a board, like a pointer dog, one little paw like quivering in the air. And Whisper, you see down in the bottom of the ravine, like kind of close to this like frozen over lake, and it's not as snowy down there, weirdly. There are even bits of green you can see. But it's like this big clump of dark something. Like it's not like a mound of dirt or anything. It's very clearly like a herd of something, all kind of like clumped up together. But it's you'd have to like go down into the, or possibly you know, depending on. I'm not sure how good Whisper is with like animal figuring out what animals they could be. It would be you know your kind of innate abilities for that. So
Yeah.
you can give me a roll of intelligence, Animal Ken. But you can also like try get the attention of one of the others as well. Very quickly while you give me your roll, North. Do you want to head towards the weird smell you smell, or?
Yep.
Okay, so North, you go.
I just turn around towards the other and go like, smell a thing. Bye.
My face
I
is
just
in the snow.
slowly make my way over there.
Yeah. I just kind of look at him and like just try to get a little tiny bit closer just so I can maybe see what they are.
Okay. Nice roll. So very quickly, please, Persephone, roll me a dexterity athletics.
Uh, 5 successes.
Yep. Yep. Damn. Look at that. That's 7, 9, 9, 9, 10. That's a good roll. You are very, very sure now, Whisper, that these are herd animals. So something to hunt, food. And you're fairly sure it's a large group of them, and they're like bedded down for the night. North.
Oh.
Roll me. I'm not sure if this would be intelligence or wits. I'm going to say they will give you different answers. You can roll either. Either intelligence Animal Ken or wits Animal Ken.
Okay. I'm gonna go with.
You're gonna go with the one you're better at, but you're not sure what the result will be.
Yeah, I think. Well, it's only one dice in it, really. So, I'm gonna go with wits Animal Ken.
Okay.
Let's do the sheepy thing. I rolled animals. I got 2.
Okay. Yeah, as you get closer, you get more of like a real whiff of this like kind of tangy, sharp scent. And you get close to one of the trees that has this kind of like big scratch mark down it, and then like the bottom of it has been all chewed and like the wood has been like kind of stripped away. And you smell You have smelled this before, very, very occasionally. It smells like bear pee.
Bear piss.
Someone been bear pissing out here, yo.
I got some bear facts for you, Matt.
So Whisper, when you turn around, to get either one of them to help you out, if you want to investigate further, you see that you kind of turn around to Persephone, and she's a little bit further away. She has her head in the snow and is like plowing through the snow, like searching for something. And then all of a sudden you hear like a yelp and a scrabbling, and you see her like, and there's like claws on stone as she almost falls off the edge of the ravine. But she manages to like claw herself back up, and then she like shakes herself off, and then she like looks around, like did anyone see that? And then catches your eye, and her ears like go flat in this kind of like, someone saw me, I did a stupid. And then you look over to the other side, to where North was. They were both on your flanks like a second ago while you were like investigating this thing. And over to your left, further down towards the entrance of the ravine, is North like barking at a tree, like
You
it's
see
like
him,
it's offended him.
Go, like, this is gross, but also, should I taste this? Like,
Ooh.
And then kind of reacts with like a kind of shaking of the head and snorting, and then barks at the tree.
Can I get their attention without alerting the herd?
You could let out kind of a low kind of like.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna go for like kind of like a low.
If you want to really get their attention, you can go for a proper growl, as in kind of like stop dicking about.
Well, I don't
If
want to
she
alert
sees
the
me-
herd.
Yeah.
If she sees me, I will be like, and I'll just like slowly come back over. And
Tail
sit
is tucked
Yeah.
between
my
the legs.
Yeah.
And just comes down and sits down at you. And North, you hear like a not really threatening, but more just kind of just a low growl in a kind of hey you.
oh, hey, Whisper. Bear.
And I just like
Fight,
I
bear,
like don't
eat, bear, piss, bear piss, bear fight,
food, actual
Food.
food.
bear food.
There. Down there. Food, not bear food. Herd food.
Bird
Fair
food.
fight?
Can I tell what those are here?
Wits animal ken or intelligence animal ken. Either option will give you either. And North, you can do this too now that it's been pointed out to you.
3 successes.
Okay.
What that?
North, have you rolled or?
Oh, for the what that?
Yeah. You don't have to if you don't want to.
No, he was just gonna trust Whisper.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can just as easily be completely distracted by bear piss.
Yep.
Maybe got a little bit on your nose and you can still smell it. and you're
Yeah, it's like it's all around me. And like it's like bear ninjas.
I'm just gonna take my paw and kind of just like bop him on the nose a little.
Yeah.
Stop
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Look there.
That kind of like
Food. Time to hunt.
that Persephone. Was that intelligence, by the way?
It was, yes.
Okay.
Intelligence animal can.
That is a large herd of bison.
Ooh. I'll just like sniff and kind of look and I'll be like, bison. Do I count how
Distinct
many?
bison.
Can I count how many, or is it just like
A
big
good
blob
30 to 40, I'd guess.
Ooh. Lots.
Okay, question. Can I tell if any? I mean, they're sleeping, right?
Probably, yeah.
Can I tell if any of them look weaker than the others, or smaller?
Not from here. It's nighttime and you're still a reasonable distance away.
Are we upwind or downwind?
you are neither right now because you're like above them on the ravine. If you go down into the ravine through the entrance, you'll be, well, the wind blows through the ravine, so it will blow your scent through the ravine. And if you try and go down from here, you may die. So
Oh,
Well, shit. Okay, so I wish Yuli was here. She's better at plans.
when one thing I will give to you, because you are all three of you aware of this. When you hunt, like proper hunt, you go as a foursome or even with Eclipse as well in tow. It's like it's a pack thing. Like going out to get rabbits or whatever, sure. But if you're going after like deer or elk or bison, you need the whole pack with you most of the time.
But we're
I guess.
hours away at this point.
Yeah, it's it's still early-ish nighttime.
They're not going
Um,
anywhere, right?
I was gonna say, like, how much do we know about animals' movement behaviors? Like, are they gonna stick around for a little bit, or are we?
It seems like they've been moving through the edge of the territory. From what you can all tell, most likely they will carry on out the ravine and further to the kind of northeast. Also, you, especially with Whisper, you can track them over long distances. If needed, you can follow them for days, and have followed herds for days in the past.
Okay.
So a couple of hours isn't going to be anything off, no skin off your snout.
I'll
think we
turn
should
to
get
Whisper. Yeah, I'll be like, get Yuli?
Yeah.
Okay.
Food?
and
Get Yuli more food.
Like when they say it in unison, I'm like, okay, fine.
So, reluctantly, especially for some of you, you turn around, head back through the blizzard, back to the cave. Are there any objections that are raised aside from a grumbling from north?
You hear both grumbling from North and also North's tummy, but he goes willingly.
More food later. I just kind of like nudge him with my shoulder. They'll be very tasty later. It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Way more food later.
You
I'll
start.
bug him and be like, you smell like bear piss. Like, keep running.
I'm gonna chase Persephone most of the way back.
No!
Like,
Okay.
you want bear piss? I'll show you bear piss.
No!
In that
feel like-
case,
Once we like get far enough away that we won't disturb the herd, we can kind of like play a little
yeah.
Mhm.
as we run back.
In that case, North and Persephone, please roll me dexterity athletics.
Wah.
3 successes.
Persephone's too quick for you. You try like one of your tactics you enjoy even when hunting like slightly larger game is kind of like barging into them and just sending them sprawling. It's not a tactic wolves tend to use, but with his increased kind of intelligence and awareness of himself, North has developed a couple of tactics using his bulk and his strength. Which it's not a better way to hunt. He just finds it amusing when animals like are rolling over and over, like bowled over, and then they're like flailing with their legs.
It's fun.
Yeah.
They're easier to hunt when they're
So,
on legs.
Yeah, you have Whisper following the tracks back, leading the way as the blizzard is kind of covering up your tracks as you're heading back as well. But you know the way back from here. This is still within your territory. You don't head out from your territory too often, but even when you do, mostly as long as you have north with you, you can find your way back. Even if you don't, it's not too difficult. There's probably been a couple occasions you got a little bit lost, but a howl or two, especially with Ulysses, if Ulysses is back at the cave, is fairly easy to find your way back. With North nipping at the heels of Persephone, Whisper following the tracks back, probably not paying too much attention to the other two. You eventually, after a couple of hours, make it back to the cave. As you get to the mouth of the cave, I'm assuming, seeing as you're probably going to want to talk to Ulysses, at least one of you will shift back, but it's really down to you what you're, tell you what, you guys tell me whether you shift back and walk in or stay wolf.
I think I'm gonna let Persephone tell Ulysses because I was already out before we went out again. So I'm tired. So I'm just gonna walk in and kind of nuzzle Ulysses' leg a little bit. She's probably sitting there with a book by the fire. So I'm just gonna nuzzle her leg a little bit and nod my head. Just so she kind of knows we found something and look back and say, just to kind of signal that the others are right behind me. And then I'm gonna go to my bedroll and just curl up in my furs and go to sleep.
And yes, the fire is still going. Couple new logs gone on. And Ulysses, you hear a oof and a thump as Whisper just collapses in the corner to the side, and then Persephone and North walk in.
I would probably skid in with when you do a side, you stop with your skis and it goes with a whole bunch of snow, and then I just kind of turn back.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, so we found bison.
How far?
A couple hours. A lot of them. Also, Whisper got a squirrel, but then North ate it.
I come
Also,
in and I
North
do the
smells like
doggy
bear
shake
pee.
to get rid of all of the snow.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Couple
just turned back.
couple of sizzles as some of the little droplets of water land on the fire.
Mm.
Careful, North.
Also, if you
Yes.
smell bear pee, it's him.
Yeah.
You
I'm still a wolf by this point, so I'm just gonna go and
Yeah.
curl up and give the doggy snake eyes to Persephone.
Just like,
sidebar for you, Ulysses. You can vaguely smell something a little bit stale and rank, but it's not overpowering or anything. When you guys are in human form, for the most part, your senses are dulled to that type of thing. And also, carry on,
Carry on.
because Sheepy's going to pee quickly.
yes.
Go.
The infamous sheepy break. Yeah, I was down in a ravine, almost fell in it. They're all kind of sleeping at the bottom. There's a lot of them, 100,
You need
200.
to be more careful, Percy.
I am very careful. I did not fall into the ravine.
You need to be more careful.
I am very careful. Sometimes. But anyways, so the bison are there, and we figured because you're kind of better at the whole planning thing, you probably want to come along.
Should
right?
be. It was scouting he was supposed to do. So
And scouting we did for food.
good job. Well, get some rest. We'll go in a few hours.
Yeah, all right. Look at this.
And I've just thrown one of the furs out because obviously it's cold outside and she's human now.
Mm-hmm. No, I'll probably have a favorite fur that probably looks like this, and I'll just yes, Oh, it's just nice. Uh, you know, I hope that blizzard clears up in a little bit, because it'll be really nice if we don't have to walk through all that. I wasn't cold, but oh, I could tell. Whisper and North were getting kind of chilly after even a couple hours.
It's pretty bad still, so hopefully we don't have to run through it twice.
I mean,
Bringing
we
back
already
a
kind of ran through
bison.
it twice, you know. Yeah. But it'll be nice. Nice big meal of bison.
Was the bear pea near the bison?
I think so. North, was the bear pea near the bison?
Orc.
Yeah. It was like on a tree that was up near where we were. So maybe there's bears around there too.
Okay. Rest
That's
then.
nothing we can't handle, right?
Ulysses, would you like? Forgot. I was muted for once, and I
know, I was
did
like,
notice.
is GP just...
Ulysses, would you like, just from your past experiences with bison and etc. The trick to it is...
Yeah, I was trying to Google it, and I was like, how do I do this?
No, you're good. I can give you this because you've hunted bison before. All of you have, but you have a tendency to leave the strategery, logicking, and strategy and tactics to Ulysses. So, Ulysses, the two best ways to hunt the bison is to chase them and keep chasing them until they die.
Yeah, until they're tied out and you're...
Or to make them panic and split off. And you want to target the ones who look... well, it's down to you. If you want to go for something bigger and meatier, that's perfectly fine. But in general, you tend to go for the ones who are a bit less mature.
Easy to pick
or
off.
Yeah. The younger or the older tend to be good targets. They also tend to panic easier as well. But, yeah. Kind of... In general, you'll have one or two of you following from behind, and then a couple on the sides to kind of like bark and make dashes, and even like nip in and nip them and stuff to get them kind of moving away from the herd, and then take them down as a pack. Although there have been occasions where North has taken one down by himself.
Show off.
Well, I mean, there was one time when he charged head into a bison and broke a couple of ribs, but,
Silly wolf. Well, everyone's having some rest before we head out, because they're cold and a bit tired.
Yep.
But we'll go in a few hours, so...
And it is starting to ease off slightly, outside. The whistling of the wind has died down a bit, and even from where you're sitting by the fire, you can see like the snowfall is starting to ease off a bit. So hopefully by the morning, it might even be like light at the least. It will hopefully be light.
Okie dokie.
Okay. So you're all getting some rest, getting your heads down. Okay. Would everyone, as you all drift off to sleep, most of you dreaming about food, or thinking about food at the very least, could everyone please roll me trying to decide what this will be. Intelligence and primal urge.
Josh and I on the same wavelength.
I put Sleepy Wolf, but it didn't put it in. So
Oh, no.
disappointed.
Sleepy time.
We have Tess with or
Minus.
Whisper with one -1,
Yeah.
North with 1, Ulysses with 1, Percy with 2.
I don't know if I should re-roll this because I don't know what it's for. So I'm just gonna roll with it.
It's not the first time you've had rolls from Sheepy that you have no idea what they're for.
It will not be the last.
But yes, if you'd like to spend a willpower, you may.
No. I was out and then I went out again. I'm tired.
Also, it is the start of a new moon. Which, sorry, I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, but that means that Whisper, you get a rage.
Oh.
Because it is your time.
Yeah. So what does that mean for this?
Just add a dot of rage on your. It doesn't mean anything for the roll.
Yeah, my sheet is very strange. I'll just remember.
I just had it on all, and then I just can scroll everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why it wasn't scrolling, because before I had it on all, and then I didn't realize. Okay, cool. Rage. Cool.
Okay. So to go over a few things, you as a pack, you don't have a name for your pack, technically speaking, but you know, we've talked about this, and you basically refer to the pack as us. So us lot, all of us, and then there's them, which is literally everyone else in existence. You don't in Werewolf, there are official names for the type of moon you're born under. And there are hints. For example, Persephone has a lip ring with a little chain and a half moon on it to symbolize that she is a Philodox. However, Persephone doesn't know this word. She's more often referred to as either a healer or lawkeeper. She's been learning from Eclipse the old stories and the old laws and things you need to stick to and kind of practice as part of the pack. Whisper is Ragbash, new moon, which is why she got a rage as the new moon starts to appear. However, she doesn't know that she's a Ragabash, never heard the word before, because this pack has lost all knowledge of those type of things. You are not aware that there are multitude of werewolf tribes who all do different things. They, you know, go off and fight against nameless entities in the vast world. You're here protecting this place from an enemy that you honestly do not know may even exist. The stories that have been passed down are a mix of folklore, rumor made into story, and it's very hard to tell how much of it is definitely true. So, while North dreams about chasing squirrels the size of horses, Ulysses is probably dreaming about whatever it was she was reading. Incidentally, you can all choose a couple of books that you'd like in the cave. However, there is also a John Grisham novel, because wherever you go, there's always a John Grisham novel. You can tell that everyone reads books because they found that funny. It's just a dumb joke. Um,
Hate it.
Hate it.
Incidentally, if you'd like, Ulysses, you can pick a book that you were reading.
I don't know. Probably some weird, trashy, like novel.
Fire book.
Because we've been stuck in the cave for 3 days, so she's read them.
Yeah, don't say Twilight.
No, it's Breaking Dawn.
Oh god, that's the one where the werewolves come in.
Why do you think she's reading it?
It's like making notes and
is so hot.
They got this one wrong.
making
and-
notes and like correcting things.
We're revealing the fact that every single one of us has read this, or at least seen the movie.
Don't have a.
First of all, the cinematography is actually pretty good. Okay.
Mm,
And what was it? What's the third one? The baseball one.
that's the first one.
Baseball's in the first one.
Is that the first one?
Now I
Anyways,
kind
the
of want
first
to
one.
rewatch it.
I know, me too.
Sorry.
Baseball.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Then later on, all the wolves are gonna go out and play wolf baseball and do it better than the vampires did.
Damn right.
But yes, so you are unaware of a lot of things that, and even that other werewolves really exist. You've probably come across a few tracks that were wolf, and you know, you've heard stories about other werewolves off in other places doing other things, but it's all very vague and not too important. So that's what you are all dreaming about, and because fate enjoys a joke, Persephone, you dream.
What do I dream about?
You dream of mist
Fuck me.
and snow, but the snow is like drifting up and down, like in between your feet, like kind of like coming in and crashing and then receding out again. The snow, the mist is quite warm and a little bit sticky, you know, like steam, like a sauna or something.
Guess I just start like reaching out, like putting my foot further into the mist. Trying to like feel if there's anything further in.
After like a minute, you hear splashing, like kind of, you know, like someone walking in the shallows,
Ooh, where's that coming from?
just in front of you. After a little bit, you see kind of like a figure of a person, and it kind of walks towards you and then stops. You can't see it through the steam, the mist, but you can like see the shadow outline of it.
Hi? I can't understand you. Hold on. I can't make anything out from this like shape of a person,
It's
right?
the shape of a person. They're kind of standing there with like a stick, with like a little like kind of walking stick, but like as tall as they are, with like kind of a knobbly bob on it. And like their body is a little bit distorted. It looks a little bit rounder than it should. A little bit weird.
Where did you come from?
Is all a good job?
Uh-huh.
Is our job?
with you, I'm totally not getting what you're saying. But if you just like show me maybe something, like should I follow you somewhere or like
The the figure like crouches down in the steam or the mist, whatever it is. And you see like it's you can't see exactly what's happening, but you hear this kind of like scraping, like after like 30 seconds to a minute, the figure stands up again, like holds for a second, and then turns around, and you hear the like wet slapping of feet moving away, and the shadow disappears into the.
I'm gonna lean down and see what was like scraped into the ground.
You have to walk forward a little bit, but you can do that, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So you walk forward, the mist kind of curls around you. And when you crouch down to look on the ground, you see a message engraved which says, "I hope one day you will hear me."
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I heard you. I'm gonna start running towards where the where they were disappearing into.
Dex athletics.
Wait, come back!
Dex athletics.
Oh, Dex athletics? Okay.
Actually, Dex primal urge, please.
Dex primal urge. Five successes.
God damn. Nice. That's a hella load of successes, yeah, and a 10 as
Yeah.
well. You're running, and you think like it's been an hour, maybe. You've just been like full tilt headed towards where you saw the shadow disappeared, and you start to feel this really strange buzzing, but it's like in your head. It's like vibrating your teeth. It's very, very strange, and you instinctually feel like you can kind of push through a barrier that's like slowing you down.
Okay.
If you want, mechanically, you can spend a gnosis.
Okay. I believe I only have one gnosis to spend. So I will do so.
Are you like I'm not telling you what this is, so it is just going to
I'm
have
just
to
gonna
be.
do it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna go for it.
All right. As you run, you see a shadow, and you hear the slapping of wet footsteps, and you reach out and you put on an extra burst of speed, and your hand like touches something kind of hard and like smooth on this person's back. You still can't see them, they're still a shadow, but you can feel the sensation. Please roll me a strength primal urge.
Okay. 2 successes.
Nice. Okay. You grab the top of it. It's like kind of like near the neck here, and like grab it and pull them back to you, but it just comes off, and you end up stopping with like a fairly large kind of body-sized shell in your hands, and the shadow disappears.
Ah! Oh! Oh god, that must have hurt a lot. Is it like a turtle shell? Like a giant turtle shell?
Yeah.
What the flippity flop? What do I even do with this? Okay. It's just like a shell. Like, can I hold on to it or anything? Like, does it look like something I can put on? I don't know if I want to put it on.
Maybe. Do you want to keep it with you?
Yeah, I guess I'll put it on my back, like they did. I'm still in a dream, so I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll just do the thing.
You're fairly lucid. You're aware that this is a dream, as far as you can tell. You definitely remember going to sleep, and then you were here, and you don't remember getting here, so it's unlikely to be real. But you have heard enough of the stories of your pack to know that weird shit can happen when you're a werewolf.
Is there anything like inscribed on the shell or anything? Like, does the shell look like anything in particular? Patterns?
It's just a smooth, big turtle shell.
Well, now I feel bad for. Fuck. Okay. I think I forgot. I think your shell came off. Oh. I'm starting to think about like times where we've hunted turtles. Where like
not so often up here, really, but
no, but like in the summer or something, like near a ravine, if ever there was like something fun to do, and like turtles are like fused, their spine is fused to the thing. So like Percy's just like, are you dead? Like, but she's holding on to the shell and she's like, I guess I just have this now. I'll put it on my back and kind of keep walking towards where they kind of left off to try to give it back to them.
You hear a howl, like very faint, off in the opposite direction from where you've been running. So back where you came from, basically. The shadow's gone.
If it's gone and I don't think I'll be able to find it again, I'll start walking back towards the pack or towards the wolf sound with this shell.
Okay.
I'm just very confused. Kind of like shifting the shell on my back. And like, this is weird. I feel like a turtle. Start like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll just end up like, if I get frustrated with just walking, I'll end up just kind of like running back over to where the sound was, or howling back.
And as you get closer, the howling, it's every now and then, eventually gets louder, and you wake up. In fact, were you human when you? I think you were human when you went to sleep, right?
Yeah, I was.
Okay. In fact, it's quite cold on your right hand when you wake up.
I just try to like bring it back under the furs.
As you like bring your because your arm's kind of like outstretched over this way, and as you bring it back, you hear this kind of like slosh, and then like a little wave of cold hits your side. And you hear like this kind of like clunky rocking as well.
Okay, I'm gonna wake up. What's
Everyone else is still asleep. there is a turtle shell next to you, upside down, filled with what seems to be water. A little bit less filled now because you spilled it a bit.
Is the ceiling dripping?
No.
Was this a shell that I've ever seen before, or is it the first one that I've like? It's just brand new
In the cave?
in the thing.
Yeah,
in the cave.
this wasn't. There were no turtle. Like, it's not a massive turtle shell. It's not as big as it was in your dream, but it's kind of about this. So, a fairly large turtle.
Okay. If it's filled with water, I'm just gonna sit up and kind of like look at it or smell it. Like when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're kind of like thirsty and you want to get a drink of water or something, and there's water in the fucking turtle shell right there. So I'm kind of just like, well, this is convenient.
It's hard to tell as a human. It smells vaguely sweet.
I'm gonna. I want to shift into a beast just so I can smell this better because I'm a little wary about it.
Okay. Would you like to use a rage, or would you like to roll for that?
I'll try to roll for it.
Stamina primal urge.
Stamina primal urge. Okay. Come on. Oh, 7 successes.
Oh, yeah,
I got 4 10s.
You literally roll out of bed and start like snapping and the bones twisting and the tendons going, and by the time you're on all fours, you're a wolf with your nose like directly over the shell, like sniffing. Now in wolf form, it doesn't smell sweet. It smells more. You've been to the sea before. It does have this little tint of like saltiness and kind of but mixed in there's maybe like a sweet embellishment to it. It's a very complicated smell, and not one you've smelled before.
I'm gonna like put out my tongue and just like.
That's gonna get
sip
gift.
a little.
It's bear piss.
It's bear piss. Fuck.
Yeah. Oh, as you lap up, it's kind of more difficult for a dog to go like, so you'd have to go for a lap. But as you lap up the water, you get this immediate like refreshing salty taste that then has a transitioning aftertaste of like kind of golden honey type flavor.
Ooh.
It kind of like leaves a really nice aftertaste in your mouth. So the water itself, no idea what that is, but it is refreshing, a little bit salty, and then kind of transitions to this nice like it's almost like you wake up in the morning and you do mouthwash, and it just like rinses all taste out of your mouth and leaves you with that kind of minty, except for in this case it's more like golden syrup honey type aftertaste.
I'll probably like once I've kind of confirmed that I'm not gonna like freaking die from drinking this thing.
Seems to be unlikely, yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably like roll back over, turn back into a human, and like finish the rest of it like with my hands, so that I'm not like wasting any of it because it tastes good. It's tasty.
When you shift back to human and you kind of cup some in your hands and take a drink, it's like putting a honeycomb in your mouth.
Ooh.
that then transitions with an aftertaste of like rock salt.
Oh, so it's like the opposite.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's in this sense, it's not as refreshing. It's not really. It doesn't quench your thirst the same way that it did when you were a wolf. It's a bit more it's a bit more just really nice tasting, and then it leaves that kind of salty aftertaste.
Huh. Weird. I'll have to thank Yuli for making me this weird tea.
Incidentally, you can all start waking up. It's about time when you would be.
I'll like shake Yuli. Like, hey, this is a cool cup you got.
Just while you're talking, North, can you roll me let's go with it's hard when you don't have composure. I'm trying to think of what would be the equivalent.
Hints.
Let's say manipulation. Let's go with manipulation primal urge.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you ate, so it's fine. We'll go with we'll go with the 6 difficulty. Okay. You're kind of dreaming of chasing giant squirrels. Doesn't translate into reality where you're like lying there, kind of, you know.
Oh yeah. And then suddenly I wake up.
You
and I
wake up
start
and you're
just
like, raw.
running.
Yeah. So you managed to wake up reasonably calmly.
Squirrel.
What cup?
This turtle cup. Where'd you get this? I've never seen this one before.
I'm
Yuli's
still
like,
a wolf.
the fuck?
I just walk over and like I roll out of bed. I'm still a wolf, and I kind of walk over and start sniffing it.
That's not mine.
Oh.
It's a
Well,
complicated
there was like
smell.
this is like weird tea in it. It was kind of cold by the time I was drinking it, but thought it was yours. But because you were asleep, I figured, waste not, want not. So, had a little sip. It's pretty good, actually. It was, tastes like honeycombs to salty when I was human. And then I tried it while I was a wolf, too, and it was kind of like salty to honeycomb.
You drank a mysterious drink that you didn't know whose it was or what it was.
I thought it was yours.
Arguably worse.
Still sniffing it, and I just kind of like my tongue like laps out just a little bit to like not really taste it, but just kind of like have an idea of what the flavor is. Can I tell anything?
It's kind of weird, right? Like salty to honeycomb. Does she taste the same thing?
It would be salty to kind of golden syrup, honey, taste. Like that's the aftertaste. The salty is actually quite refreshing.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like my doggy mouth is still like kind of like
little bit
noise.
tingly as well.
Yeah,
Let's
I just
not
kind
all
of
drink the mysterious substance. And she's holding a hand out for the cup now.
Well, if it's not your cup, then can I keep it? I think I found it in a dream. No. Yuli. No, listen. No. Okay. All right, listen. So I had this dream. It was really cool. I was in a bunch of mist, and then this person, I think it was a person, came up and they had like a staff, and they're like blah 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 blah, and I couldn't understand them. But then they scratched into the ground, and they're like, "I hope you can understand me one day." And so I ran after them because I was like, I can, or I hope you can hear me one day. And so I was like, "But I can hear you. I just don't understand what you're saying." And so I ran after them, and then I tried to catch them, and I pulled off this like giant turtle shell thing, and here is a turtle shell, and I was thirsty, so I drank some water. And that
There's like
Julie!
there's
I
like
just kind of like nudge her. I'm like,
there's like a little bit left. Additionally, Persephone, I realize that you're handing it over. But additionally, as the lawkeeper, you know that anything really like this, or unknown, or could possibly dangerous even, go to the pack, and then the pack decides what to do with it. It could be
Don't
Yeah,
want
give
to
it
drinking it
over.
anymore.
yeah. There's a tendency towards finders keepers, so the pack will very often be like, "Oh, you found this, you can have this," but it has to go to the pack first, and then be designated if it needs to be designated. Things.
I don't feel like I would have drank like all of it, but
No,
I
no,
definitely would
there's-
have had like
there's-
a couple good like
Yeah, there's some left, enough for a couple of handfuls maybe. Also, things like North's fur, sheepskin is inherited, so it doesn't have to go to pack and then be designated because he got it from his dad.
My daddy's.
and just kind of like push the turtle bowl over gently. It kind of tastes cool.
Slops a little bit spills, but still.
I'm
nice.
trying to be careful.
I
I'm
know.
trying to be really careful.
It's a turtle shell.
So I'm just thinking about how we can do a bit of investigating, but I don't know much
Drink
of
it.
anything. Drink it, okay.
How
great.
about you see if I get sick, and if I get sick, then nobody drinks it. But if I don't get sick, then we can all drink more of it.
I agree.
You're a
Percy should
wolf.
drink it. I give an agreeing growl.
If you want to go more complicated than a couple of words to humans, you'll have to roll a
Shapeshift.
well, you can shapeshift, sure, but you can also roll a either intelligence or wits expression to get your point across. So
I could do that.
yeah,
I'll shapeshift. Is what I'm gonna do.
you don't want to roll no dice.
I'm gonna shapeshift into Homid form, and I'm just like, let it drink it.
Snap, snap, twang, twang. Kind of uncurls and stretches out the limbs.
Good morning.
Oh,
Drink
that
it.
sounded like a good crack there.
Yeah, it's like if you twist and you jerk your knee up in the right direction, it goes all the way up your spine. It's really good.
Mm-hmm. You should try that. I mean, it's actually kind of tasty. It's really refreshing in wolf when you're drinking it as a wolf.
Well, we're
Eh.
waiting to see if you die, Persephone.
So far, Persephone seems fine. Also, would you like to, because obviously the fire's gone to embers and burnt out during the night, would you like to put it back on, or are you heading out fairly soon?
I think we're all hungry, right? There's not any.
You're all pretty damn hungry, yeah.
So the idea was that we set off. We had like a couple of hours and we would go.
Okay. So if you're gonna hang around for a bit and see if Persephone dies, then you can.
She could die en route. That's fine.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Finish drinking it. See if you die en route, and then we'll deal with it then.
Wait, I'm confused. Am I supposed to be drinking more of this, or am I not drinking more of this?
I'd say drink more.
Yeah, but Yuli said I should not drink more.
Oh.
Plus, then you guys won't get to try it. It's actually pretty good.
Are we fighting bison, or are we going to talk about turtle water all day.
Yuli makes a great point.
Fine, we can see if I die en route. I'll shift back into wolf.
Yeah, and Yuli's heading to the door, and we'll switch over. So I'll roll. I've got that ready.
Okay, so everyone's shifting. It's stamina and
I think I might need to reroll.
I never shifted back to human.
yeah.
So
So
I just kind of
whisper,
like
whisper.
stretch.
You've just been kind of chilling, and then you kind of stretch out, like pause, go.
Yeah, I do the doggy stretch, and then I kind of just like shake.
Is it
And then-
3d10 for willpower?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to be sure.
Just
As
need
soon
a 6 to nope.
Wow,
soon as
I got
they
2
start
ones
shifting.
then.
If you want to avoid what you're currently on a minus, which is a bad, you
Mhm.
can spend a rage and another rage to shift without problems.
So to be 2 rage to.
Yeah. Keep in mind that this is not only a failure. This is a
A bad failure.
a baddie.
Ouch.
I
Probably
best
just,
not die, shall I? I'll do that then.
Probably just immensely pissed off that
Yeah,
I
it's
like,
like-
drank this goddamn turtle water.
It's fine.
A little distracted, yeah.
Trying to stop everyone drinking some weird dream
Okay.
turtle water.
So you went with the 2 rage.
Yeah, we sent those.
Yeah, that was a good plan. With a lot of snapping and twanging. Interestingly, one thing you have all started to notice is the more you stay one shape, there's just a little bit of difficulty. Not massive, but it like with Persephone kind of shifting back and forth. It's kind of easy to do that. Slightly less painful, slightly less kind of awkward. And yeah, so Persephone has already shifted a few times this morning and just kind of in and out and in and out. Just easily kind of shifts back into Wolf. Whereas for North and especially Ulysses, it's kind of like getting up in the morning and having a cramp. It's like, oh, just a little bit awkward or just weird. Oh, I'm just gonna need this knot out. Kind of. But yes, eventually, with a bit of huffing and panting and grunting, you are all now wolves.
I'll give Percy a little nudge.
I just kind
I'll
of
just kind of like almost like big sigh and just kind of walk out and take a look outside.
I run ahead of them outside. I'm like excited to see what's out there.
Okay.
To see the outside. I just kind of like
It's still a little bit windy. The trees getting buffeted about by the winds, but you hear birds.
Birds!
You see the sun.
Sun!
It is a clear day, and it is not bear pissing it down with snow.
Yay!
you just hear like happy yips from Whisper. She's just like prancing around the snow.
Okay.
She kind of runs up to Ulysses and like nuzzles her shoulder and is like,
Yuli is gonna have like a big stretch. Like, yes, so good.
I'm gonna run ahead. I start like bounding ahead.
Okay.
And off Yuli goes as well, following. Just seems that person knows the way.
Okay.
North is going to do what comes naturally and follow Ulysses while staring at birds.
Yeah, I'll eventually, like, once everybody starts heading in that direction, I'll run to the front and just start like scouting up ahead a little ways. I'm not so far that they can't see me.
Well,
Um,
and also in this state, you're leaving tracks behind,
yeah.
and obviously with the new snow, but no new snow, if you get what I mean. Like your old tracks been covered up, and you're leaving new ones, and you're not making any attempt to hide it, so
Yeah.
they can follow you easily enough if you head up forward. If you want to head up to where if you want to break from the group, head up towards where you last saw them, the herd, you could maybe get on their trail and lead the, you could even, a howl might uh, alert them, but
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll stay close enough. Like, I'm not gonna completely run ahead. I'll just run ahead a little bit so that I can scout, but I'm not so far behind that I can't like turn around and like run right back and tell them, something.
yeah.
Because they were sleeping, and I think at this point we want to kind of get there close to each other.
Okay. As you see Whisper start to go, Ulysses, how there's something you can do that can help. I'm just wondering whether you want to do that to assist the hunt and make it easier and faster, or whether you'd be like,
They said it was a few hours away, so it's like I think we've all probably been annoying each other a little bit in the cave.
yeah.
So we're just having a sort of running peaceful time for a minute, and then when we get closer, probably,
You'll review it when you get closer to this herd.
yeah. They said it's a few hours, so
Okay,
just let everyone have some time.
that's fair. In that case, I won't require any like athletics rolls or anything like that. As you're going, Whisper, I'm assuming you're fairly on point. Are you looking for other things, or are you just following the trail and going for the...
I'm keeping an eye out for more squirrels because everybody's hungry.
That's fair. That's
And
fair.
it'd be nice to have a little pick me up.
Okay. So you get to the river, the frozen river. So it's been a good like hour or so. You don't see signs of any squirrels or anything much like that. You see a few birds like flying overhead and stuff. Would you like to wait for them to catch up, or would you just like to get to the ridge?
I'm gonna head to the ridge from there
Okay.
because they'll be able to tell I crossed the river. They remember that
Yeah.
I crossed the river before, so.
And this is still in your territory, so you know the territory pretty well. When you're not hungry, because there's been a blizzard for a few days, you have a tendency to patrol around the borders of the place, make sure no one encroaches. That's a little bit of wolf thing as well, like that kind of wolfy instinct of maintaining territories. You get to the ridge, and you see very clearly like this kind of dugout area with loads and loads of tracks of, again, best guess 30 to 40 bison kind of like heading up out of the ravine and off towards, like, kind of going alongside, parallel with the mountains, it looks like. Do you want to start following them? Do you want to go back to the pack, or would you like to take a moment to just look around?
I think I'll take a moment to look around because once I've picked up their scent, I can follow them. So I want the others to catch up so they don't lose me.
Okay.
And then I can help them figure out where to go. And I'm curious, like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe there's something I can find.
Yeah, you can totally wait for the rest of them. They're not super far behind you, so it'll be like 5-10 minutes or so of just waiting and having a look around. In that case, please roll me a perception, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be alertness, but I'm just going to have a look here to see if anything makes more sense. Yes, perception and alertness, please.
That's 0.
You can re-roll with willpower if you would like.
Yeah. What is that? A 3d10?
3d10 and take off the willpower, yeah. That is a success. But it is also a crit 1 failure, so it stays at 0. I'll tell you what. You are kind of looking out and you see the tracks and you kind of, like vaguely thinking in your head like where they could be going and thinking about the hunt that's coming, and also a little bit distracted by the hunger. And you catch like a little shadow or something off far in the distance, but then everyone turns up and distracts you and you turn around.
Bison?
And I just like point my head and I'm like, that way.
Kind of northeast, but along the mountainside.
Food.
Hungry.
I'm all excited.
So Sheepy, were you thinking of Call of the Wild or Mindspeak? Because I was thinking of Mindspeak, but
Yeah, I was thinking of that too.
okay.
It'll allow you to be more coordinated.
Yeah.
And also separate from each other and still be able to.
Talk properly.
Whether you want to catch up with the herd, because you've given everyone a bit of space, as it were, from annoying each other. I mean, they still manage to annoy each other a little bit because Persephone is
It's pack, isn't
Persephone,
it?
and yeah, North is a bit irrepressible, especially when he's excited and you can see birds.
I think it's time now because they can't have gotten far.
No. Yeah.
So that is a manipulation. Well, wait. If it's the Garo can include her entire pack in the waking dream for only 1 willpower point. Please.
Yes.
So I will do that, and I will take off a willpower point.
Okay.
Moved my page.
I'm just seeing what it says.
Question: do the gnosis and willpower and what was the other one?
Rage.
Rage. Do they all replenish at the end of each session, or is it?
Willpower does, and that reminds me, take 2 gnosis, Persephone, for when you woke up.
Okay, I only had 1 gnosis before.
I know.
Oh, okay.
You did a good.
Gnosis now. Sweet.
I
Snaps.
wasn't expecting you to manage to get there and do that, so well
I
done.
wasn't either.
You have all experienced this before, as Ulysses' body language basically indicates for you all to come close and to like bring your heads into like a like star
Like those bunnies
formation.
with all their faces together.
Yeah.
We are the bunnies.
And your heads all come together and kind of rest on each other's brows in like a kind of cross formation. Is anyone unwilling? You know what this is? Is anyone willing to unwilling to do this?
No, I trust Yuli.
I have to ask because if
It's an opposed if not.
yeah. In that case, your minds are all now connected together. If you get too far away, it will break. But for now, you can all talk completely normally.
Food.
Sun.
Whether you want to or not. Regret
That way-
instantly.
Yeah, regret.
So much regret.
We need to focus if we want the bison.
Oh
that
yeah.
way. Let's go, shall we?
Big bison in my belly. I am going to eat
Smelly.
all of them. Smelly. Ah!
Louise just set off. She's just like, oh god, okay, it's time to go.
I
now.
just like start heading in the direction following their tracks or their trail that I've gotten. And I'm like laughing in my head.
North and I are rapping to each other like food raps. Oh man.
What does
Uh,
bison rhyme
Really?
with?
me and Persephone hunting bison. Can't wait to get there, and we'll try some.
Oh, that was
Oh.
good. Brr, 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 brr. Oh, you don't know what that sound is as a wolf, huh?
Yeah, you made it, so I made it. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
it's like a weird woof, right?
Yeah. Woo 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 woo. Oh
Hunting.
god. Hunting. Love that. Love
Yeah,
that.
it's good.
Love that. Hunting time.
Ulysses, if you want, you can give them a bit of a snap
Not-
back into.
It's we've not seen them yet, so
No.
it's like they're not at each other's
We're not
throats
messing
right
anything
now.
up.
No, no.
They can have a play around,
Yeah.
and then when it's time to hunt, it's like it's time to focus.
They do tend
Part of
to,
the-
yeah. They do tend to get serious when it comes to
Yeah. I'm not
hunting
worried.
time. In that case, I'm assuming you're gonna lead the tracking and the up to getting to the bison to whisper.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yes.
Bison daddy, bison daughter. Man, I wish I could have it with my turtle water.
You dead yet?
You don't feel particularly bad or different or anything. You'd have to try it a few more times, but maybe you feel a bit more awake and a bit more refreshed than usual. But it's hard to tell exactly. It is
I'm not really paying much attention to it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like right now. Right now,
Uh,
I think I'm more think about the rap.
so Whisper, let's go with a perception survival, please.
Of course. That's this.
Yeah, easy enough. The tracks are there. They're not being cautious. You're downwind of them, so your scent isn't drifting that way. It's a simple thing to follow them. It takes about 30 minutes because they are also moving like fairly slowly, kind of plodding. Before you kind of turn. There's like a fair hilly mound, and the tracks kind of go around them like that. So as you come around, it kind of opens up. It's still snowy. For the most part, there's a few like bare patches with some green, but it's mostly like snow. And you see like this big procession of bison, like all kind of fairly closely huddled together, not really on guard or on edge or anything, just plodding away off towards the mountains and further away from your territory. I don't think. Wait, I can't 100% remember. No, because Josh, we were talking about the thing that North has, right?
Oh yeah.
We did discuss the sacred part of the territory. Like you'd feel a, or was that someone else? I remember
That was
talking.
someone else.
I remember talking with someone. You feel a twinge when someone else enters the sacred part of the territory. Does anyone remember us talking about that? I'm pretty sure it was the.
Did you make it up?
Yeah.
Oh no, I do remember. I think we went with something else, but that could
Yeah.
be it.
If you'd like
Yeah,
it,
I know what you mean.
if you'd like it to be it, then that can be
Yeah,
what
let's
it is.
do that.
Okay. In that case, you are like reasonably distracted by rapping with Persephone and also hunger, and you've just seen the bison. You do feel like a momentary twinge, but it's not like usually. There's been a couple of times, and your dad would have probably mentioned this as well while he was still around. It's like someone walking over your grave. It's like a constant feeling. When someone's in the sacred area of the territory. This is like a ghost of that feeling, and it disappears almost instantly. So
Once we've seen them, you're like focus.
Ah,
the beat
yeah.
go? Oh,
If you want to eat with
Yeah,
focus.
food. Got you.
It's that way.
And at this point, I imagine all of your minds turn to hunting. So, does anyone, aside from Ulysses, want input into the hunt? Because the usual standard fare is Ulysses figures out how you're going to hunt, and you guys enact the plan. However, it is always open if anyone has any ideas or any thoughts or any things to... So, I'm just wondering whether you want to get involved with this, the decision-making part.
Nah, I want to see Yuli do it.
Yeah. Does she knows that, like, she knows that I can hide my scent, right? That I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have all been with each other and hunted with each other long enough that you know each other's strengths and weaknesses. If you as players aren't 100% aware, feel free to ask and we can divulge.
I have a bit of a plan. So
Okay.
North is too
100%
distracted.
is he still like wobbling around?
Yeah.
Both of us in the back are probably just like, dun, 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 dun. Like, you know how you know that German Shepherd like dancing, like.
I'm sorry,
Video.
Yuli's gonna snap at you both a little.
eh.
Like, but with a wolf snap instead.
Just kind of like, if you like, you can go for a non-harmful but attention-grabbing like leg grab with your teeth. Like my dogs do it all the time, where they just go and they grab the leg and just hold it there.
It's like, pay attention.
There's no
Come on.
pain or anything.
Yeah.
Just, like, flop on my back
okay.
and just be like, okay.
Whisper. I want you to loop around around the bison so we can push them further into our territory. It'd be great if we can keep them close by for a while. Persephone and North, you guys can harry them from similar directions so they can head further in, and we're going to tire them out. We're going to drive them further and further in towards home.
Want me to scare them by making myself smell like a human?
You always smell like a human.
Wolves are scary enough, I think,
Oh.
but
Okay.
plenty of noise.
Noise? Rapping?
Noise!
Hey!
Once
Hey!
Whisper is in place,
Okay.
Yay.
Just give the
she
signal.
needs to start.
I just head off. I'm like, yes, boss.
Okay.
And that's the plan. I think Yui's gonna head like, if Whisper's gone more of the way around, it's probably gonna go like halfway, because I'd like to drive them further in so we have them in our territory, not further away.
So you kind of want like Whisper up the north, and then maybe like northeast and northwest, kind of like pincering a little bit.
Yeah, so it's like pushing them down
it's-
into our territory rather than.
It would be easier to herd them with like a wolf on each wing to like make sure that they don't like veer quite so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Then that.
I'm gonna stuff my nose under the snow, shake myself out, sneeze, and like blow out my coat so I look even bigger.
Okay.
Eh? And then I'm gonna get serious.
Okay.
And I'll like focus down.
Whisper, you've headed off.
Yeah, I'm already like halfway there. I'm just kind of like plodding along, like quietly. I plan to make my presence
taking
known.
taking a loop so as not to like worry them or anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Just FYI, you'll be fine, but once North and Persephone swing round, especially the person who goes northeast, they will then be downwind of upwind of the bison.
Yeah,
so.
it's why I said North first, because she can.
Whisper
why I said
first,
Whisper
yeah.
first, because then she can be the sort of surprise, and they won't know she's there until it's time to go. And then if they head like our direction, we'll like be like, surprise, the wolf, and then they'll run away from us too.
All right.
It's the plan, theoretically, having never done hunting before.
So, you all move into your positions as the bison are kind of plodding along. By the way, Ulysses, where do you position yourself? Like,
I feel like I wanted to separate North and Percy a little bit on this one. I've been
That's-
messing around a little
yeah.
bit too much. So it'll probably go like Whisper, North, me, and Percy. You know.
okay. Yeah. By the time, who's going northeast? Persephone or North?
Probably me.
Okay. In that case, once Persephone is almost in position, the bison start to seem more agitated and kind of like their movements falter. Some of the herd kind of, squish up to the front runners as the front runners kind of slow down, and then almost by like some like unexplained consensus, the majority of them kind of like shift around and start like moving in a kind of curve back towards the kind of south, maybe a bit more like a bit more southeast than south, so maybe
You
like
came from
even
the south, right?
yeah, maybe even veering towards the east.
Okay. Trying to like visualize where everyone is.
You so you have Persephone on the south, on the northeast, yourself and Whisper more north, and then North on the. This is confusing, Josh. Why do we always do this to ourselves? And then you have North on the northwest.
Okay. I think everyone's in the right places, so I'm just gonna tell Percy moves first.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll all go and sort of howls and loud noises and harrying.
Okay.
Hopefully. Surprise.
In that case,
Draw it out a little. So the bison are here, I think. And they're going now this way.
Yeah, that's why I was like Percy first,
okay.
and then
So
At the front. And I'm like, near.
as you even slightly start to close in, the bison set off like they kind of startle a little bit, but they stay together as a group, and they kind of they set off on like a slow trot to canter type speed, which instinctually I feel like you all match to kind of keep going. Obviously they can't go into a massive sprint or anything. But yeah, you start matching speed and you keep moving towards them. In this case, Persephone, you're trying to push them further down to the. You're trying to push them further down to the south as opposed to the kind of eastward way that they're veering. As per instructions of Ulysses. So you're going to. How would you like to do this? Like, are you barking? Are you making like darting movements to threaten them? Are you like coming in to even like nip at them or anything?
So let me just grab my sheet here because I just want to make sure I know exactly what I can do. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna start running down. Yeah, to try to cut off the not the front runners, but definitely like the first little like bit of them that start to separate out.
None of them are separating. They're not scared enough to separate.
Okay. Then if I don't see them separating when I start coming in even more and start like trying to nip at them, then I'm going to use.
If you come in to nip at them, you'll be close enough to be trampled. So you're going to have to be very quick and very like your concentration is going to have to be on point. Like if you want to, like your presence on their side, like more east than southeast, could start veering them away from you, and the rest, like if some of them move them that way, the rest will follow, like from your experience. If you want to be more effective, you can totally come in to nip at them, and some of them all like bark and get close. But there's the risk that one of them will panic and trample you or attack you when you're by yourself, and there's also the possibility that like that's the bad angle. The good angle is this possibility that one or two will panic and break off from the herd.
Okay, let me come in. I'm not gonna come in close enough to nip, but first I'm gonna try to bark.
Okay. Strength intimidation, please.
Okie dokie. Where is it here? Strength intimidation. That is 2 successes.
Yeah, they kind of shift from their more veering eastward, and the curve starts to go a bit more south. So they're starting to curve around to the south, and you will notice this as well.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to push them like further south towards
Yeah.
home. So, so yeah, I'm gonna try to keep that up and push them a little further south,
Okay.
just to start.
Sorry, I just noticed Persephone rolls Bork.
Work.
You know what? I will say this. For the sheets, I really enjoy that you can name what you're doing. It kind of adds a little extra to the.
Yeah, it's fun.
So far, so good, Ulysses.
So far, so good. I think it's time for Yuli to move now.
Okay.
And she's probably gonna move a little east so that she can harry a little bit that way as well. So turn a little bit more.
Yeah. Kind of covering the gap that Persephone left by veering them to the south.
And tongue whisper to get ready.
I'm just gonna mentally
And
nod
off.
my head and say, I'm ready when you are, boss.
And yeah, Yuli's gonna try and aggravate them a little bit too, heading south and back up Percy and that a little bit too.
Okay. That will be a strength intimidation.
Na 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 strength and should have got this ready. Two successes.
Okay. Yeah, they're starting to pick up the speed a little bit. They're like the amount they were like glomped in together has kind of shifted a little bit, as a couple of them have kind of like gotten spooked and darted and then come back in. You know, not enough to exploit, but enough that you can tell they're starting to get spooked. So now is a very good moment to talk about your plan here for chasing these things. It can take quite a while for them to tire out and fall over either dead or of exhaustion. Maybe even like a day plus.
I didn't realize it was so long. So
Oh yeah, it can take days. Which, you know, is fine. Like, you can hunt that way legitimately. But from your initial attempts to spook them, you will know, and this is kind of you tacticalizing in your head, you will know that they seem like they will break if you apply enough pressure. Probably it'd be, like, North is pretty good at this, so it could be a job for him.
My next plan was like to try and get North to push forward. And
Especially as his side is like against the mountains and stuff, so he doesn't have as much of an area to cover. And if he like moves in, it's kind of like less likely they're going to break and then run up mountains and hills and stuff. So
I think it was going to try and get North and Whisper to just head directly.
Okay.
Now and
in that case, we will resume the hunt.
okay.
Yeah, you send over those instructions to North and Whisper to start harrying them, try and make them either break off individually or like your objectives here are basically get one or two easier. Are you looking for easier looking? Because there won't be as much food, but a bigger one, like an adult, will be more food, more yum yum, but also harder to take down, dependent. And also, there's a possibility like you could go off in twos and try and take more than one down. But
Yeah.
again, yeah.
It's whether or not there's something to try and break off on north side of the bison group.
Yeah.
It's difficult to say.
You can make the decision once it happens.
Yeah, I was gonna see like what breakup was gonna happen and if they're spooked enough to move, and if not, I was thinking about Call of the Wild so that they get scared and we get
Okay.
ready to go. But we're just still hunting yet.
If there's any other wolves or scavengers or anything, and you know any other like
Yeah.
predators in the area, that could also alert them that you're on the hunt, and they might try and come in and snake something from you. You know.
So it's like we will if we need to break the group, but break the bison group. But if not, we're just gonna carry on.
Try the
Aim
North
first.
Whisper thing first. Okay.
Attacky.
So North and Whisper, you are tasked with heading kind of from the north and from the west to try and like spook them and make some of them break off, or even just one of them if you can.
So I'll just start like running up alongside them, kind of like behind them alongside them, and just like growling and barking at them.
How
going,
close?
Like, "Rawr." How close?
The
not-
closer you are, the more effective, but the more dangerous.
Right. So like not close enough to where they could like kick me because I'm small. I'm not
Okay.
that strong. But
It'll-
like close enough to like growl and have them hear me.
It'll be less effective, but
Yeah.
also something very much less effective in a hunt is getting trampled by bison. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Roll me a strength intimidation, please. I know that's Whisper's forte.
I like that we're drawing the hunt on the map so we know what we're
Yeah.
doing.
0 successes. Can I boost that with a rage? Or
Sure, yeah.
how do I do that?
Just take away a rage and I will consider it a success.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a very visual person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed to see it. I was like,
Same. Yeah.
I even got a little Percy barking.
oh,
Bark, bark.
okay.
Like a little bork.
So yeah, Whisper, you kind of come in mostly from the north, a little bit west maybe, kind of in the same direction as Yuli came in, kind of barking, putting pressure on that side to hopefully get them to break off. Like again, the formation kind of like shivers a little bit as a couple of them kind of dash out and dash back in, but with the added pressure of Persephone and North on either side, they're not quite confident enough to go like, all for one and one for all, I'ma make this bitch kind of thing. You know, they're still kind of staying, they're not scared enough to be completely making a break for it. North?
North is a little bit distracted and also kind of grumpy at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm going to spend a rage point and transform into the half wolf, half
The
monster form, the hispo form,
direwolf, yeah.
the dire wolf.
That's gonna slow you down a bit?
I don't care
Okay.
because I am going to do the very angry barking and get as close as I possibly can.
Okay. Because you will have to, I think difficulty 7 for this. You'll have to shift.
That's what I spent the rage for. Is that right?
Oh, you're spending a rage to do it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I spent rage to do it instead of rolling.
I was distracted by a giant direwolf suddenly turning up and being like, "Roar!"
Like, oh,
Um,
okay. Well, that works.
In that case, it will take, you'll have to stop, you'll shift successfully, but it'll take you a little bit of time to shift effectively.
Okay.
So you're not going to be like running and then burst, you know, like suddenly muscle wolf, like all swollen shit, and be like, yeah. So roll me a seeing as this isn't very far, it's more of a burst of speed than reflexes. I'm gonna go with strength athletics
Okay.
because it's just a catch up, basically.
Nope, that one. There we go.
Yeah, you don't it's just like you stop for a second and then just rock it, and you're like, boom, 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 and immediately back up with the rest of the pack and moving into. Are you trying to scare them or?
I'm gonna try a rather extreme version of Ulysses' plan.
You want to
I
kind
get
of
really close
snap
and really, really angry.
Yeah. Are we going for like roaring, or do you want to actually like harass them physically?
Ulysses didn't want us to harass them, did she?
Oh,
she did. Okay, yeah, that'll do that then.
So it's more risky in terms of getting a knock or.
That's fine. I think North is not really considering the fact that he might get trampled at this point.
Okay. The hunger has taken form.
We're really hungry. We need more than one.
Why is it, Josh, that regardless of the fancy creature you are, you can't handle feeding properly?
I don't know what you mean.
So roll me. Well, it won't do any damage, obviously, because you're kind of affecting the herd as opposed to individual. But roll me a strength brawl as you're like moving in and out and taking little nippy shots at their legs and at their flanks and stuff.
Okay. A giant what? One? Oh, it's because I got 4 1s and 4 10s.
3 1s and 4
Angie
10s.
Bork attack.
Yeah.
Angie Bork attack.
Bork?
So if you're willing to take a little bit of a knock, you can do something extreme. Because of all those 10s. If you want, you can be effective, but not super effective. What was that?
Can I get close enough to one of them to use Falling Touch?
I don't think you took Falling Touch in the end, to my knowledge.
Yeah, I took Prejudice Arsenal, Falling Touch, and True North.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would say no, also. It would have to be used on an individual as opposed to the herd, and they're currently...
Oh, that's a good point. That's what it was. Yeah,
they're currently still a herd.
Yeah, I'm still... I'm taking a knock. I'm going in.
Okay, so...
Full teeth, bad.
Like, it...
Wolfed.
You basically, like, you're coming in and you're nipping at them and you're kind of like getting that harassing kind of like, and they're starting to like the formation's starting to shiver, and a couple of times like even there's like a opening in the middle of it where they kind of like shear off and come back together, and then one of them like panics a bit too much as you're coming in, and it's like its horn kind of dips under you and flips you. You get like a gash on your underbelly. And you kind of get flipped, and you land on all fours with like some blood like dripping, but it also kind of gets your adrenaline pumping even more, and you 3 of you all see as North flies through the air as like a giant dire wolf looking motherfucker and lands on the hind flank of one of the bison and just like bites and like claws in, and so now he's like on a rodeo, but he's on the butt and he's kind of like up and down, he's like clamped in, and it makes all of them like panic and shiver, and the formation actually breaks off into two and splits off to the east and to the west, but like proper south just kind of split off, and half of them are going one way, half of them going the other way. Incidentally, the west side is what North is on, because that's where he was when he jumped on this.
My daddy's Kanye.
I hope you didn't do that. All like the name just for that joke at some point in the show. I'll be upset with you.
So obviously, I think like Yui has an awareness of what's going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
with
You
my
can all,
speaking stuff.
you can all see
So-
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're kind of getting like animalistic garble from North currently. There's a little bit of human, like, oh yeah, you like that? How about this? And
While I'm riding its butt.
yeah, kind of
Yui's like, give
Okay.
me
jaws
strength."
like clamped onto the butt, and then claws also, and just kind of being jolted as the bison's running, and kind of brrr.
And she's gonna say West Group, and try and like direct Percy and whisper to keep on with North, so he doesn't die. And if we can split the group a little bit more, we could help him out or get another as well.
I get a
depending.
little closer like,
Yeah.
at her urging and just start going like "Rawr," and start like trying to nip at their legs a little.
Yeah.
After
Point, I
after
think
seeing
I'm
what
the
happened
closest
to North, you're gonna get in closer.
A little closer.
Okay,
just
okay.
A little bit.
I'm probably in my head. I'm like, yeah, go, buddy.
That's all you get back.
And I'm the furthest away, so I'll like do a
Oh.
kind of like hard stop and whoop, go the other way.
Okay, so
with it.
you're kind of gonna
around.
hook around to the other side.
Yeah, like I'm gonna end up trying to, like still stay on the east side of the west group,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Reposition, so you're same position, but just on the west group, not on the entire.
Yeah, let the east group go wherever the hell it wants. So
So Ulysses, please roll me an intelligence survival.
Okie dokie.
This is probably a 5 difficulty, to be honest. It is not
Okay.
that comparatively not that hard.
Intelligence and survival.
You should have changed angry balk attack to angry butt attack.
Ulysses is kind of hungry with 4
4.
successes.
Okay. Even though you're hungry, you can't stop your strategic analytical mind from going. And an image that all of you get is that the West group, especially, but both groups kind of, with a little bit of guiding, are heading straight for that frozen river.
Okay.
a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing
Okay.
because we're going to drive them into the river and hope that it collapses under the weight of some fat cows.
That will make them panic.
They'll be stuck in icy water.
Basically, it might, like, best case scenario, it will turn the herd of bison into Tesco's frozen food section.
Which is good for us. So, yeah, so that's the new plan.
Okay, so with that in mind, and also everything else that's happened,
God.
how did Sheepy roll? Oh, badly. Okay. Two from the eastern group break off and kind of curl away and around. The rest of them kind of spread out, but they're still mostly together as a herd, or like a partial half herd, I guess. On the other side, they're mostly still together, but there's a couple that have kind of like split off very slightly, including the one with a giant wolf on his ass, weirdly enough. And very quickly, I want a reactive order from Ulysses as to what you'd like to do with this eventuality. Would you like to keep running them to the river? Would you like to peel off and deal, like, with added pressure, you could make the ones who have, like, split off slightly, completely split off, and then you got kind of like 4 options of ones to take down. The one that North is on is a full-grown adult. The other one that's broken off is slightly younger and smaller, and the ones on the other side is one smaller, younger, and another like slower, frailer, older.
I want to ask questions, but can I tell how well that North is doing or not?
He hasn't had a physical effect. He has had a psychological effect, as in he's made them more likely to break off and stuff.
Okay.
But he will need more more time to bite ass to have
I'm gonna tell Percy to help North, and Direct Whisper to work with me to get one of the smaller ones on the west side.
Okay. Alright, so that's what we'll be doing next episode.
Hey.
Hey.
We already went like 50 minutes over.
I know.
Oh my gosh. This
it's
is fun.
Yeah,
I
no,
like this.
I'm surprised how quickly the time went and how
Yeah.
we've managed to feel like so. Before we go to everyone else and talk to them about what they thought of the episode and this werewolf show, I want to say a massive round of applause and kudos to the players because they have nothing to interact with. So, you know, usually when you do TTRPGs, you have NPCs and like incidents to incite you and to get you moving and going. So starting off like this is quite difficult, and you all did really bloody well. So well done. And now, with, you know, blowing up all of their egos, the butt-biting bastards.
Oh God.
Let's go around and say hey to Ulysses and also Tash. How did you find that?
I
Oh.
enjoyed it. It's somewhat difficult for me as a nervous person to be. I don't want to be all sassy and bossy, but I'm bossy, so
Yep.
sorry.
You
Not
could
sorry.
have been harsher to them. So you didn't.
Yeah.
You weren't too
It's-
nasty.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's just serious when it has to be serious.
Yeah.
Okay, can't believe you drank the freaking turtle water, though. What is that about? God, you're always like long suffering with these guys. It's like, when's Eclipse coming back? I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. It's different, but I'm like, this is so fun. I like it, and yeah. I'm excited for next week to see how the hunting goes and how much Percy eats. All of it.
Mm.
So we're gonna need 2 cows.
I'm really interested to see if you manage to get like a full adult and.
Yeah, I'd like a
what-
full adult, and then so we can preserve some also. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And hopefully North isn't too injured.
Like a full adult and like either younger or slightly frailer older one. Those two together will probably last you guys a couple of weeks. Most likely.
Yeah.
With a little bit to preserve for snacks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I'm enjoying it. It's obviously we don't do a lot of combat in Sunkist, so
No.
it's nice to body some fools.
Yeah. I've got to say it's very different as an experience for me, jamming like this. Very
They're
weird.
allowed to talk.
It's very weird not having my sandbox and like having all of these things going on. I'm like, I have nothing to like scheme behind. You know, I'm not. There's no huge factions moving or anything. So,
Pleasant.
moving onwards to Whisper and also Tessichka.
So I'm just gonna put this out there. I don't believe you, Sheepy, that there is no scheming in the background because you gave Percy an interesting turtle dream.
Percy was the one rolling. Percy gave Percy the interesting turtle dream.
I have learned from Tashnar, who is a genius and knows you very well, to never quite trust you when you say you
This is
don't
very
have anything
wise.
planned. And yeah, so I'm excited to see where that goes, but also I'm just loving it, like the whole like scenery of being in the woods and the snow and being a wolf, and like it's very I feel like it's very easy for me to just slip into I'm comfy being a wolf, you know. And I just love it. Like I love the picture that you've like that we have in our heads of where we are, and this whole hunting snowy wilderness. It's great.
Yeah, and I was really loath to leave to pee because I was like, I don't wanna miss anything. And let's be honest, you guys went for a scout and a snack, and then we've gone hunting. Like, but I find it really interesting. I'm really enjoying this. So moving on to Goofy, Persephone, and also Vandy.
I was
Well,
like, which one of
gosh.
us? We're both fucking goofy. Like, oh man, I love Werewolf. Okay, so first of all, I'm always gonna drink the turtle water. Okay, I'm always gonna drink the Kool-Aid.
That's why when you got the successes, I was like, okay, let's do this.
I mean, listen, as a player, I'm always like yes-anding, and I love playing. I'm every time. Listen,
yeah.
For the audience here, okay, for the people watching, I have always told Sheepy, "Fuck me up, fam." So I will purposely run into something that I'm like, yeah, let's just figure out what it is, even though like, who fucking knows. So yeah, I have no idea what this turtle water is. I have no idea what that dream was about. And by the way, can I just say, like, your unintelligible voice of this weird human thing is so on point with like what I would imagine it would be. Like, I full on heard that voice in my dreams, and I'm like, this is like so real. This is so weird.
Thank you.
So I fucking love that. This is awesome. I love interacting with like the different werewolves. I love Tash that you're playing like a serious, like, you know, I am
in charge.
You're like the alpha. You are the like, you're in charge, like, you know, you're the strategist. And like Tess, I love that you're like this, you know exactly where you're going, and then Josh and I can like fuck off for once. Like, it's great. So I'm looking forward to like the continuation of the fight though, because this is fun.
And no theories about the dream at all.
Listen, the first thought I had was, God damn it, we met the turtle guy from the goddamn forest. He just went like overseas and a little further up, like Jesus Christ, can never escape this goddamn turtle. Like, no, I want to say it's like something to do with the more like mystical side, but I don't know what. And like the fact that there was a turtle shell there, I'm like, is there something in the cave that like gave me this turtle shell and was like, here baby, drink it? And I was like, I don't know. Anyways, I have no idea yet. Okay. I'm just gonna drink the Kool-Aid.
That's fair. And yeah, it's like the water's weird. It's water. You're not poisoned or anything, don't worry.
Peach snaps.
Good. But it's like reverse too. I'm glad I drank it in both forms, because that was kind of cool. So
and finally North, and also Josh, who decided to stick with our naming system, which gets confusing.
Yeah.
Tess and Tess, you know, North and North. It's great. I can't wait for someone to be called Wolf.
Well, yeah, it was pointed out to me today that because I started as a wolf instead of a person, I should be a a wolf wear.
Mm.
But anyway, we could have fought a bear today, and no one was interested in that. And I'm very disappointed.
We're not
Worst
fighting a
game
bear.
ever. 0 out of 10. I won't
Smell
be
like
here
bear
next week.
piss.
I'm very sorry. But no, this was great. I very much look forward to seeing what I end up on the butt of next.
The imagery was too perfect to resist that. I was just like, North would totally jump on and bite and just latch and be kind of riding on the back of this fucking bison in this situation. So
I
I
have.
do appreciate how much butt there was in this.
There was plenty. I have renamed my attack roll appropriately.
there hasn't been that much arse biting since that scene in the Oasis with Lamia and Tess.
It faded to black, okay?
Anyway,
Nothing I say right now
No.
is going to be appropriate for stream.
No.
Nope.
one question, because none of us have much werewolf lore knowledge. I have some. I've kind of looked into it minutely, as in a little bit, not every little bit minutely. Josh, do you have? Don't tell me what they are, because you might be right. You're the most likely to be right. Do you have theories about the turtle dream and that
Nope.
whole? Okay.
No clue.
Because I saw you go like do the Josh revelation, but I think that might have been you think it was the turtle spirit.
That was
in-
the turtle.
Okay.
All I said in chat was just ask it to say hi to Cass.
Yeah.
Say anything to Cass.
Yeah. Poor
Yeah,
Cass.
that's all I got.
Okay.
The
Although
only thing I could think of was like North American, like indigenous stuff, and I was like, maybe there's something there, but I don't know.
I have a
Sorry,
theory,
Josh,
but I'm
you
not
were
going to
gonna say
post it
something.
here.
Okay.
I don't know. But I am looking forward to seeing whether we figure out what went to the kind of sacred area of the cave. Because that's the next thing North's gonna say. So
Mm.
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It wasn't enough of a like warning. It'd be the equivalent, like what you experienced would be the equivalent of someone like sticking their leg in and then pulling it out again.
Like testing the waters.
Yeah. Very well then. As I have said on previous occasions, we don't know how long Moonkissed is going to be. It depends how slow we go, which for the Sunkissed crew could be years. It depends how much we enjoy it, which from what we can tell, we all love this, so years. In which case, look forward to the return of Sunkissed in 2030.
No, because we have a party.
You do have a party. It won't go on forever, but stay tuned, because it could go on for a fair few episodes. And we will be back next week with more Moonkissed. I'm going to send you guys, because I'm not recording, I can't say goodbye to YouTube, but bye YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.
And we'll do a little bit of an outro with the theme song, which is what this is. And I'll send you off to raid someone. So, yeah, as I said, massive thanks to the cast. They did fucking great. And we'll see you next week.
Ooh,
Oh,
I had to.
oh, 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 oh.